Why, hello, and welcome to the 158th episode of the Captain's Cast with me, your host, Captain Garrett of the Swords and Starships channel, talking today about a brand new day for Spider-Man, my favorite superhero, the best superhero of all time, and an excellent film. That was a lot of fun. So we're going to talk about that. And I thought we'd chew the fat about the Odyssey a little bit. The great, the terrible. It was the best of films. It was the worst of films. And let us not forget that in the first, I believe the first preview day, the first day of Spider-Man Brand New Day, it has accumulated more domestic box office receipts than the entire Supergirl box office run. Folks, that is what we call poetic justice. That is James Gunn, the pathological liar, the pathological deconstructionist of superheroes, the destructor of Henry Cavill's Superman, his truly most unforgivable sin. That is his just desserts, and he got exactly what he deserved. So, Wrangler is in the chat. Ahoy, Wrangler! Welcome aboard. Good to see you. Has my gray denim been severely mischaracterized? I have no idea to what you refer, sir. You must elaborate. Ah, yes. The stack of stuff. We should just jump right into it. Now, we probably need a warm-up because I came across this video and let's just say I got a lot of enjoyment out of this. Hat tip Asmongold, he was reacting to... Oh, shoot, I forgot. I'm not signed in on this one. Okay, hang on. I got to sign in on this one so that we don't have ads interrupting us. There it is. Okay, share screen, Mr. Producer, and we must share audio. The WoW player experience. This is...
Uh-oh. Come, guys, come on. What the f*** is this? Why is this on the second monitor?
The WoW player. Oh god.
Okay, I'll just skip to the best part.
It's November 2004 and World of Warcraft just released.
Wow.
You went to the video store to buy the game, not knowing this is going to be the end of your life.
The end of your life.
I was still playing Halo then, to be fair. Wasn't until 2006 for me. Ooh. 21 years ago. Yep, that was it.
This is the happiest
you...
He said this is the happiest he'll ever be.
Jesus.
You accept your first quest. You have no idea how to complete the quest, so instead you just spend 3 hours just killing mobs until you reach level 4.
I started on Horde.
And then 20 years later.
Man. That was quick, huh? That's pretty fast. Yeah, what a shift, huh?
You just finished reaching max level on your 257th ult. You've gained 180 pounds and lost almost all of your hair. You forgot about the night elf female you wanted to...
And you're watching Asmongold.
Look at this guy!
impress. Instead, all you want is to impress Asmongold with your mount collection.
Directed by Donald Trump? He did this?
Little did you know, downloading Skyrim, putting in that Halo Combat Evolved disc. It was the last time you'd ever be happy. It was the happiest you were ever going to be. There's so much truth to that. Anyway, I enjoy that. Why, look who's come in. Starfitty is in the chat. Ahoy, Starfitty. Welcome aboard. Says, evening, people. So gentlemanly is Starfitty. And Redoubt Productions is in the chat. I'm amazed Redoubt Productions hasn't abandoned the channel yet, since I loved Young Washington. I loved his arch nemesis. Redoubt says, first Washington, then Spider-Man, 2 American legends taking out Supergirl. What patriots. That's true. You gotta love Young Washington for that, Redoubt. It took out Supergirl. Oh, to be fair, that wasn't easy. Morbius took out Supergirl. Let's get that right. Morbius took out Supergirl. Oh my God. In a single day. In a single day. Spider-Man destroyed Supergirl. In a day. 24 hours. Think about that. There were shills. There were dumb shills that were predicting Supergirl had a chance at beating Spider-Man, which, first of all, if Spider-Man on his worst day, you'd had no shot at that. But just think of how that must feel for these dumb shills that Supergirl is one of the worst films of the year. It just is. It is absolute garbage. It was so miserable to watch. I watched Little Platoon's review of it, so I was kind of reliving a bunch of it, and I was like, oh God, the worst thing, every film that I really hate, there's always one thing above all that I hate the most about it. And with Supergirl, it's the ugliness. I just hate, it's like vomit on a screen, that movie. It's so hideous. The aliens are all fucking ugly. The planets are all generic and ugly. She is ugly in that movie. Millie Alcock, she looks like shit. She looks like garbage. Well, she looks like a drunk, you know what, who wakes up in her own vomit every day. That's what she looks like. I'll never forget. I still can't get out of my head how shocking it was that, the whole concept of her as the party girl is she goes to bars and she drinks alone. She drinks alone all night long and then just goes to another planet and does it all over again. I'm like, it's so pathetic. It's not even fun. It's not even girls want to have fun. She's not hanging out with anyone. She's not talking to anyone except her dog that isn't even real. What a terrible movie that is. By contrast, I have just seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, my out of the theater, actually not even my out of the theater. I'm sitting in the theater as the credits roll. My as the credits are rolling reaction was, are you ready for this? 10 out of 10. Exceptional film, maybe the best movie of the year. Now, I've had some time to think about this is what always happens to me. See, I've noticed something about modern films, and it's very insidious. It's very insidious. You can watch a movie and you have time to reflect on the first act of the film while you're watching the film because there's time has passed and you're kind of thinking about how what you saw at the beginning is factoring into what's happening now. But the danger of an immediate reaction to a film is when the credits are rolling or when you've just walked out of the theater is you haven't yet had time to reflect fully on the ending. And what I've noticed about modern films is they tend to sneak something in at the end that you have to, when you think about it, you realize, wait a minute, that doesn't work at all. And for me, what they kind of snuck in at the end with the villain, there's something really bad about it that I do not like. And I can't tell you what that is until we get to the spoiler section of the show. So we're going to do no spoilers for a while here. So I had to claw back a point. So I'm going to say that Spider-Man Brand New Day, 9 out of 10, but the first 2 Tobey films are still 10 out of 10. So that should tell you where we stand as far as the greatest Spider-Man films. But so aside from that issue that I will explain in more detail later, what I can tell you about the movie is this is some of the best Spider-Man action probably ever. Let's just be fair. And to be fair, that's the technology, but it's also the director clearly had a vision for this, and the POV shots of Spider-Man web slinging, the incredible moves he has in this movie. They're the best you've ever seen in the series. There's a scene where something is about to fall on someone, and Spider-Man catches this giant propeller with his arm. It's one of the freaking coolest things I've ever seen. It was so cool. I was like, oh, that was rad. And the movie is filled with stuff like that. The first 15 minutes of this film is some of the best Spider-Man. It's some of the best Spider-Man storytelling I've ever seen. The first 15 minutes of this are pure fan service. If you are a fan of classic, old-fashioned Spidey, comic book Spider-Man fighting villains like the Shocker and Tombstone and the Scorpion, the first 15 minutes of this film are pure happiness. I mean, it's up there with Captain America Civil War for me in terms of the pure childlike happiness that this film creates. John Bernthal as the Punisher, although a bit over the top at times, is fantastic as a kind of sidekick to Spider-Man in this. They are very much an odd couple because they have very differing philosophies, and it kind of works. It's pissed the hell off of the surgeon, Mahler. Mahler and the boys as we speak, are savaging it. They're savaging it on the Mueller channel for the exact reasons that I say the Punisher is a killer. That's just the facts. And he does things that are pretty savage in the movie, and Spider-Man kind of puts up with it and hates it. And you can argue that that's terrible because, oh my gosh, he's such a bad friend. He did all these bad things. It's like, well, but that's just who he is. That's just who he is in the movie. And there are mitigating factors. I don't want to get into spoilers yet, but I loved John Bernthal's Punisher in it. The Hulk section of this film, incredible. Not to put too fine a point on it, but incredible. And just a classic, like, have you ever wanted to see Spider-Man versus the Hulk? Well, guess what? You get to see Spider-Man versus the Hulk. They even echo the sequence in the Avengers when the Hulk is chasing Black Widow. Remember how terrifying that was? And she's running. They almost shot for shot echo that, except they're showing you what Spider-Man can do in that situation. And the contrast is one of the coolest things I've seen in the entire MCU. Just one of the coolest things I've seen. The villain in the film is just if I tell you who the villain is, it's like a big spoiler for the movie. So I'm going to hold off on getting into details on that. I will just tell you that when the threat of the villain first emerges, which you see in the trailer, this kind of unknown figure that seems to be taking over people's minds, it's immediately frightening, and it gets right to the core of, like, this is because Spider-Man's been winning, and he suddenly runs into someone who can completely outclass him and what's really interesting about it, not in a physical way, in I guess it's more of an intellectual enemy to him. I really enjoyed that. The suit looks better than it's ever looked. It looks fantastic. I watched Friday Night Tights, and Mahler heavily criticized this. And, I have always said on this channel, I hated Spider-Man having Stark tech. I hated him having Stark tech. To me, Spider-Man is supposed to be broke. He's supposed to be poor. He's supposed to be bootstrapping things. But in the comics, Peter Parker is very intelligent, and he invented the web shooters. The web shooters are, ironically, they are as implausible a technology as anything Tony Stark has ever built. They might be one of the more, aside from his superpowers, if you just grant that he has these superpowers, one of the most implausible things maybe about Peter Parker is that he invented web fluid and web shooters. And, in the in the world of nerds debating what's possible in a comic book world, the web shooters are a hot topic. So, two things. Spider-Man is a DIY superhero. That's important to be. Number two, he is brilliant and an inventor, which is established in pretty much every iteration of the character. In this movie, he is poor. He's DIY. He's doing it on his own. And he has technology, including an AI, that he's invented to help him. Now, it's interesting because a lot of the criticisms I hear of the film is that some people hate this. They think it's too magical. Mahler hates this. Absolutely hates it. He thinks it gives him all this magical technology, and his real critique is that it inserts a plot convenience that robs Peter of being a problem solver. There is some validity to that, I think. It is true that there probably are moments where watching Peter, like, sleuth through a problem would have been more narratively interesting than an AI assisting him. But I didn't experience it that way when I was watching the film because two things. A, as established, Peter Parker's brilliant, and it's implied that he invented this technology. And unlike Ironheart, going to be better than Pym, going to be better than Tony Stark, going to be better than whoever. Unlike her, it's believable that Peter Parker has invented this stuff. He has like a little robotic machine that stitches his... that like works on his web shooter, stitches together his costume. Now, I can buy into that because we've had 4 previous films, four, in which Peter Parker has been personally mentored by Tony Stark. 4. Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home. That's 4 previous films prior to this one establishing Peter Parker learning from Tony Stark and using his technology. He uses Tony Stark's technology in No Way Home to cure the villains. We then have 2 alternate Peter Parkers, the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker and the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker, who are also shown in that film to be capable of developing cures for the bad guys. Therefore, it's not difficult for me to believe that Peter Parker has created this technology. In fact, it actually feels quite natural. It makes sense to me that he's picked up a few of Tony Stark's tricks. He's smart enough to do that. He was about to be in MIT. It makes sense to me. I like it because he created it and he learned it along his travels, and that works pretty well. I will say this. They never explain what his job is. Like, they never tell how he has money, and that didn't occur to me till after I walked out of the theater. I was like, wait a minute. He's not a photographer. He's not a reporter. How does he make any money? That being said, I don't really miss it all that much. So, in any case, those are pretty much my broad thoughts. I'll get into more. I want to read some of your chats here. Let me know what you guys think. But I will just tell you, I had so much fun watching this movie, and there are emotional moments in the film that really land beautifully. I think it's one of the best films of the year. It's better than the Odyssey for me. I would say the only film I had maybe more fun in the theater was Project Hail Mary. It's probably the only film this year I've had more fun. I think this is a fantastic Spider-Man film. The best part, the absolute best part of this movie is Tom Holland. For the first time, well, I should say since about the halfway mark of No Way Home, he has become Spider-Man. He is no longer Spider-Boy. He has been promoted by me, yours truly, the captain of the Swords of Starship channel, in my authority. From my many fictional years of maritime service, I dub him Spider-Man. He really owns this role. He really is fantastic. I even kind of liked Zendaya in it. Maybe I may have contracted chivalry by proxy. It's possible. The early signs can be a bit deceptive. But in any case, I love the film. So I'm going to, because of the problems with the villain character at the end, I'm going to claw back that 10 out of 10. I'm going to chill out a little. I'm going to say it's a 9 out of 10. So, yes, unfortunately, it's only a 9 out of 10 film. It is going to, let me just tell you something else. It is going to destroy Avengers Doomsday. I think it's going to destroy that movie in terms of box office success. I did see the trailer again for Doomsday, which I've already seen a couple of times, but I saw it in the theater, and I have to give it credit. It's a good trailer. I enjoy the trailer. It lures me in. I'm not going to lie. It lures me in. It makes me kind of hope. The problem is, I know all of the plot leaks for Avengers Doomsday, and if the plot leaks are accurate, that movie's going to be garbage. Which is disappointing. I would actually like it if Avengers Doomsday was good. Anthony Mackie in his tokenized role as Captain America notwithstanding. Let me take a look at the chat here. Let's see. Staffhead says, happiest I would ever be November. Yes. I am so with you on this. Star Fury, my date would be slightly different, but Star Fury says, happiest I would ever be is November 2007, Mass Effect gets released. See, I never played it on release. For me, it would be, let's see, when did Mass Effect 2 get released? Because that's really my answer. January 26th of 2010. That's the happiest I ever was as a gamer. That was the beginning of the end for me, because it never got better than those first hours playing Mass Effect 2. And of course that's because Mass Effect 1, I had already played Mass Effect 1 multiple times over at that point, and those first hours of playing Mass Effect 2, meeting the Elusive Man, the destruction of the Normandy, having to go to Omega, this like shitty, dingy slum, and have to recruit new guys to help you for a suicide mission. Oh my God, it was great. It was so good. It was like being Jack Bauer in space. It was fantastic. Oh, I was so happy. It was so good. So good. And I played that game even 3 or 4 times as many times as I played Mass Effect 1. And then, of course, Mass Effect 3 coming out was amazing, but, nothing is ever going to beat that high. That high of playing Mass Effect 2, nothing is ever going to beat it. I will say, I was in absolute physical pain in anticipation of Mass Effect Andromeda coming out, and I remember when I was playing Andromeda, I had some pretty good feels for a lot of it, but it was not the same. It wasn't even close to the stratosphere of enjoyment that I had with Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. It just is no comparison. So, yes, chase the dragon. Exactly, Wrangler. Starfury says, a gust of strong wind could take out Supergirl. Yeah, I found Spider-Man to be flashy and vacuously empty. Well, there you have it. Our acerbic Brit's opinion. You and Mahler would probably get along on this one, Starfury. He hated it. Hated it. And I'm not surprised either. There's a thing about Mahler. I love Mahler. God bless him. I need him on that wall, okay? I need him on that wall. But I've noticed something about him and the other EFAP boys, especially Fringy. I've noticed something about them. They are so obsessed with logic. They're like Vulcans. They're the movie equivalent of Vulcans. They can't see anything that isn't purely logical. Now, this is not me saying a movie should not have a plot that makes sense. Don't misunderstand. And then this storytelling is trash. It's always trash. There's no exceptions to that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that let me give you an example of this. I can't think of I would need to see a specific example of a character to give you an exact example, but an example of a type of argument that they will make is they will say, well, this character stated in the movie that they like flowers, but then later in the film they took a flamethrower to this landscape and a bunch of flowers got burned because they were angry. Why would they use a flamethrower on flowers if they stated earlier in the film that they love flowers? That's not logical. That makes sense. This character's broken. And my thought is well, people do stupid and crazy things. People contradict themselves all the time. especially human beings, because we usually carry conflicting desires and needs within us. This is what I call the conscious, subconscious, and deep-seated layers of a character or a person, which is for example, the classic example I go back to is Walter White in Breaking Bad says and believes consciously that he's cooking meth to care for his family, but deep down he's doing it because it gratifies his ego. So often his actions conflict with his stated mission of taking care of his family. Now, I understand. Now, Mahler is aware of that in characters. I'm not saying he isn't. But sometimes they get so fixated on something being perfectly in-line logical that they forget that some characters are not logical, and even logical characters sometimes betray their own logic. It's just the nature of it. So in any case, I think that bad content is still bad content, but they do tend to obsess a little, in my opinion. Wrangler says, I guess I'm the odd man out. I think she's cute as hell. The messy blonde hair works for her. Millie Alcock. It's not that Millie Alcock is unattractive. That's not the issue, Wrangler. The issue is they made her ugly in this movie. They filmed her in unflattering ways. They specifically refused to use, like wigs on her in certain shots where you need that. This is even good-looking actors need some assistance for a shot. Nobody looks good when they're all sweaty. Movies are about creating magic. They're about creating an illusion, a believable illusion. Nothing in a movie is truly real. Nothing. It has the illusion of reality because there's movement and people talking, and that tricks our brain into feeling like this is something happening now. It's not. None of it is. It's all fake. But you have to make the implausible plausible with movie magic, makeup, wigs, that sort of thing. They refuse to do that with her because of their sick feminazi worldview. Now, what else do we have in the chat? She'd be perfect for a fae in a fantasy movie, like an elf or something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked her in House of the Dragon. She's good in that. Oh my God, Wrangler. Bella Ramsey's the only good argument for plastic surgery. Why is poor Bella Ramsey catching strays? Starfear says, I would say Millie Alcock turned me gay, but Bella Ramsey already did that. Well, as Little Platoon said in his video, it's much easier to just be gay. He highly recommends it. You don't have to put up with all the women's shit. What else? Stark was... Wrangler says, with today's regular tech, there's no way Peter couldn't whip up an AI companion. I agree. I mean, I feel like he already was using Tony's AI companions. He was already using Tony's technology. He was personally being mentored by Tony in the previous 4 films. So it makes perfect logical sense to me that he's retained some of that education. Darth Merlin asking yours truly directly. That's how Grand Moff Tarkin says it, directly. I realize this is super off topic. I don't mind that, especially when it's about me, Darth Merlin. But are there any plans for an audiobook version of Wolves Will Eat? There were plans. They were unfortunately scuppered because I reached out to Travis Baldry, who, by the way, is now a published author himself, and he's doing a lot. He really blew up with the Will White fantasy series, and now he's a very in-demand guy. So I kind of got him early with Blood and Oak, and I was pretty lucky to get him, and he just couldn't fit Wolves Will Eat into his calendar, which, I understand. I understand his reasons for that, but I just couldn't make it work. So then the question became, now what do I do? So to answer, the short answer to your question is, yes, there are plans for audiobooks. In fact, what I'd like to do with Blood and Oak is I would like to do a relaunch of the first 2 books with like a full audio, maybe not like a full cast audio drama, because that's not really practical, but maybe like a few different voice actors doing the roles. So I'm toying with ideas. The problem is that's down the road. I have considered possibly doing the audiobook myself, but that would be an enormous amount of work, and I don't know if I'm up to that challenge. So my main focus, the main reason I'm not working on an audiobook for it right now is because my main focus is my current work, which is Galaxy-Born, an upcoming starfaring novel series, military science fiction. And this is pretty much taking up all of my time currently. And it goes something like this. After a blood-soaked year of killing slaver cartels, all Captain Sadler and his starship crew want is a little rest at home. Instead, a warlord of the Rokoi race launches a surprise attack with a big enough army to slaughter every man, woman, and child on their planet. And I am working feverishly on getting this done so that we can launch the Kickstarter campaign soon. So if you want to be in the know, make sure you enter your email address. I'm working on upgrading my funnel here so that, there's going to be emails soon, is what I'm saying. So the short answer, I suppose maybe the best answer I can give you, Darth Merlin, is after there's an audiobook of Galaxy-Born and it has some success, I'm going to get back on track with Blood and Oak because there will be more Blood and Oak books, and yes, I want them all to have audiobooks, and if I wind up having to do it myself, I'll just do it myself. So we'll see. I guess early on in my self-publishing journey, it was suggested to me, and perhaps I believed this a little too readily, that a fiction author voicing his own audiobook is a big no-no. It tends to be a turnoff to readers. They don't typically like it. And it can be very polarizing, and it just doesn't work well. Nonfiction is fine, but fiction, I guess it's a faux pas, if you will. So I don't know. But then that being said, a lot of people anecdotally tell me that you should read your own work. And perhaps, I don't know. I have some natural ability for voices. I do not have like the professional practice talent of like a full-time narrator or theater actor or something like that. So I don't know if I have the skills yet to be able to do that, but we'll see. Wrangler says, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Yes. Oh, man. Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane was so good. So good. Wrangler says, I'm with you, Darth Merlin. His narrator from book 1 was superb. Yeah, Travis is fantastic. He did such a great job. Super cool guy, too. It was very fun working with him. His process is very much, I gave him sort of my choice. He said, give me a list of actors that you would cast to play the different characters in your book, and I'll use that as inspiration to create sort of their natural voice and everything. And so I gave him and we worked it all out. And there was one I kind of disagreed with him. He chose, he thought that, what's his name? Is it Vincent Price? His last name's Price. He was in Game of Thrones. Anyway, Travis is thinking he was a good actor to kind of form the voice of Captain Bainbridge, and I sort of disagreed because Bainbridge was a young guy, but the voice he did kind of sounded older, and he was like, yeah, but there's only so many voices I can do, and I think this fits the character, and I was like, fair enough. It actually worked out pretty well. I actually like his take on Bainbridge in the book, so I love listening to it myself. I really do. I mean, I wrote the kind of book I'd want to read, but hearing it in his voice makes it sound like kind of someone else wrote it, which is kind of fun. Wrangler says, it would be awesome if you could get a full voice cast and a Foley artist and then score it. I will say, I like that idea. And I want to listen to the Harry Potter one because I want to get like a sense of like how that plays. My issue with that, though, is I hate Harry Potter. I don't like the story. I've read some of the first book. I've seen the movies. I understand that people love that universe. It just isn't for me. I'm just not a fan. She built a lot of great lore. She's like an amazing J.K. Rowling. She built an amazing universe of lore, and I have tremendous respect for her achievement, and she deserves her success. There's no doubt about it. She does tell a good yarn if it's your kind of yarn. I just find the premise of her story, I can't deal with it, man. You've got all these children who have essentially been drafted into as child soldiers in an army against this evil wizard, and they're really not actually being trained to use their powers responsibly. They are being fed into a meat grinder without their knowledge. It's a hideous story. It's a hideous, terrible story. I don't understand why people like it, but that's for another day. So anyway, I'm just going to have to swallow my pride and listen to the book so I can get like a sense of how they do it. Because my feeling is sometimes when they put too much music and sound effects in an audiobook, I think it ruins it. I really do. I think that audiobooks should not sound like a movie without a screen. You know, they just shouldn't sound that way. That's too much. It's overwhelming. But some is okay. Like a couple notes of music here and there, maybe some ambience in the background, like crickets, singing or something. I could probably make a case for that. But like a lot of the music I hear in these types of productions are way too busy. There's way too much of it. I don't enjoy listening to them because it's just there was a website you could go to called, was it called? And it was like that. It had like full audiobooks with like music and sound effects and everything. And I found it overwhelming. I didn't like it. It was odd. It just wasn't pleasant. Wrangler says, depends on the voice and delivery. An author can absolutely narrate his own audiobook. I thought about it, but I just don't have the right voice for such a project. Tom Holland as Sully and Zendaya as Mel. I wouldn't choose Tom Holland to play John Sullivan. John Sullivan sounds a little more manly than that. He doesn't sound as much. I liked Logan Lerman, Percy Jackson. Or honestly, if I were just, fantasy casting here, maybe like Timothée Chalamet is closer to what I would picture for John Sullivan's voice. Yeah, I would say that's closer. I'd have to think about it. Darth Merlin says, they only seem to have done that for the first Harry Potter book. Oh, interesting. I thought they're doing it for all of them, aren't they? Staff here says, I wanted to ask you, what character would you like Henry Cavill to play in the Amazon Warhammer TV show? I am rooting for an Inquisitor myself. Well, I have played Warhammer 40,000. A friend of mine that I played Warhammer Fantasy a lot with would tell me the lore all the time, so I kind of have secondhand lore from it because he read everything. He was a lore master of 40,000. In fact, I don't think I could ever think of anyone that would know more. Seriously, he's just that deep into. He read absolutely everything back to front, every novel, everything. And he would tell me this stuff all the time. So I kind of have a secondhand knowledge of 40,000, but I don't have a detailed knowledge. So as far as a specific character, I can't exactly say, but I would like to see Cavill play a Space Marine. I think that would be his best role. Just have him play like an awesome, badass Space Marine commander. I think that'd be rad. Wrangler says, a sniper could have ended Voldemort and avoided all the troubles that the kids went through, but that movie wouldn't happen. I wish I knew. I could not finish the Deathly Hallows movie. It was so boring. I couldn't do it. I was like, man, I've already suffered through 6 of these films. I might as well finish it. And I couldn't do it. I was like, it's so boring. I don't care. I don't know what it is with Harry Potter. It's not my thing. No, nothing against anyone who loves it. As I said, I respect J.K. Rowling's achievement. I just don't. It's just not my thing. I have a video in the stack of stuff that is germane to this conversation, Stoffity. Shall we? Let's just pull that up real quick. And then after that, we'll get to the spoiler talk on Brand New Day. How does that sound? How does that sound, chat? So hat tip, film flop, Henry Cavill's Warhammer sets a brutal rule for Warhammer 40,000. Amazon had no choice. Now, I have not seen this video. I thought this would be interesting. Let's just get an update.
$150 million. That's the number insiders are throwing around right now for just the first season of Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40,000 show. And honestly, for a project this size, that's not even close to a record. Rings of Power burned through 3 times that amount for one season.
What?
So why does Amazon's Warhammer
That can't
project
be right.
feel like the one?
Okay, hang on a second. So they're going to give $150 million to this show, which is a hell of a lot of money. And he's saying it was 3 times that for Rings of Power? That cannot be right. Because that would be $450 million. Rings of Power season 1 budget. Was it really that much? Oh my God! $465 million! Oh my God! $500 million! $500 million they spent. You know, how come the left-wing communist wackos never complain about that? They always complain about, well, Elon Musk, for the amount of money he spent on one rocket launch, he could have fed all the people in Africa. How come they never talk this way about the Supergirl budget or the Snow White budget or the fucking Rings of Power budget? They never say that. For $500 million to make garbage. I can't even believe it. I probably heard that years ago, but I had forgotten it. $58 million an episode. 4 Godzilla -1 budgets per episode of that piece of trash. It's incredible. It's incredible. All right, jeez. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Roll tape.
Rings of Power burned through 3 times that amount for one season. So why does Amazon's Warhammer project feel like the most secretive show in Hollywood right now? Because it kind of is. And there's a very specific reason for that. If the recent reports out of the English language press are accurate, Amazon and Henry Cavill aren't just making another sci-fi show. They're trying to dethrone Star Wars, not compete with it, replace it as the biggest science fiction universe on the planet. And the way they're trying,
they adapt it accurately, they will. If they adapt it faithfully and accurately to what it, at least to what it was, because honestly, I think Games Workshop has already wokeified some things. But if they are faithful to the Warhammer 40,000 of the 90s and early 2000s, it will destroy Star Wars. It will destroy Star Trek in terms of success. It will end, which is kind of sad because it's grim and it's dark. But honestly, that's not even so. The field is wide open because if they just adapted Halo, faithfully to what Halo was in the original trilogy, it would have destroyed Star Wars. Because military science fiction is something like hardcore military science fiction. The field is wide open for it right now. There's no competition.
trying to pull that off is wild. According to insider claims, Cavill and Games Workshop pushed through one of the strictest
Star Fury saying, what, no female custodies? How dare you? There, no female custodies and lots of hot female sisters of battle. Problem solved. But see, that's the thing is they want fat sisters of battle in wheelchairs that are custodies. They don't want them to be hot. You know what I'm saying? Warhammer is too grim to go mainstream, says Star Fury. Look around, Star Fury. Everything's dystopia right now, except that Warhammer would be cool dystopia. I'm not saying that it would dethrone Star Wars in the 90s. If it were the 90s or the early 2000s, no chance. There's no chance you're dethroning George Lucas Star Wars. Now it will absolutely barnstorm the field. It just would, if it's done right. I have about this much. I really think that they are probably what's going to happen to it is what happened to The Witcher. That's my prediction for this. We might get the first season super accurate, lore accurate, and based. Probably a couple of things in there that are like, we're probably going to get female space marines in the first episode. I mean, I just guarantee it. It's going to happen. And it might be so good that we're like, okay, well, that's not a big deal. We can live with that. And then the second season, they're going to start putting pressure to start putting in all of the Donald Trump allegories and start putting in all of the tolerance allegories. Did you get this? Get this? I can't believe this. So in the new in 343 Studios new Halo reskin, Halo Campaign Evolved, which is their remaster or whatever, they inserted a prequel mission where you play with a girl boss who disrespects Master Chief the whole time, and she comes from a ship, and the ship's name is the Triumph of Tolerance. That's the name of the ship. It's the Triumph of Tolerance. I hope that's not apocryphal. I heard that from another channel. I may need to fact check that.
Contracts ever signed for a franchise adaptation. Guys, your support is super important to us right now. Hit that like button or subscribe just to boost the channel's activity because the YouTube algorithm loves that stuff. Without your help, we just can't push forward. One designed specifically to make it structurally impossible for writers to butcher the lore the way so many beloved franchises have been butchered in the last decade. Here's the thing people keep getting wrong. This project isn't dead, it's just invisible. Games Workshop CEO Kevin Roundtree has publicly confirmed that development with Amazon and Vertigo Entertainment is moving forward at full speed. The problem is the marketing and announcement schedule are entirely controlled by Amazon, and Amazon has clearly decided the timing isn't right yet. Likely still feeling the burn from Rings of Power, a show that basically got buried the moment the first trailer dropped. So Games Workshop's hands are tied by NDAs. No concept art, no plot details, no dates. They want to talk. They legally can't. Meanwhile, Cavill himself keeps saying in interview after interview that this is the first project of his entire career where he actually has real power. Not just as the lead actor, but as an executive producer with genuine creative say. He's called it the biggest honor and the biggest challenge of his career, and he says he's not going to let fans down. And there's an update to a story we covered a couple months back, the one about
Well, I hope that contract he has is ironclad. I hope it is just rock solid. Star Fury saying, how do you show an Inquisitor committing exterminatus on a series of worlds in front of a Tyranid splinter fleet to starve it? Master Chief would have accidentally, intentionally blown up that ship. Well, to answer your first question, Staffede, I say show it. Just show it. Just make it grim and dark. Just make it as awful as it can possibly be. And make that be the moral weight of the show. I think people will love it.
Cavill running a strict 3-strike system for anyone writing on the show. Strike 1 for breaking lore. A serious conversation.
Let's put it another way. Nobody likes woke slop. Nobody likes social justice bullshit. Nobody likes diversity, equity, and inclusion standards because none of that is real. That's all fake ideological crap that has been created as a false consensus on our society because for many years, nobody could get away with criticizing it or saying what they really think. It's fake groupthink is what it is. So if you just produce things that are in keeping with human nature and actual human interests, they will succeed. And the fact is, men enjoy stories about grim military conquest and battles and wars. We enjoy that. We just do. And no amount of woke scolds telling us we're not allowed to enjoy it or that we're bad people for enjoying it is going to change the fact that we enjoy it. So I think you can show that. And I think if you attach to it proper, as long as you attach the proper moral weight to it, it will be good. The interesting thing, take Starship Troopers, for example. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Starship Troopers deliberately treated the gung-ho, deliriously, what's the word I'm looking for? The deliriously excited and enthusiastic, attitudes of the soldiers in that. It treated it with a kind of tongue-in-cheek parody quality. And people still liked it anyway because there was just enough sincerity in Starship Troopers. Like, for example, the scene where, I forget his name, Ratchnick or something. He's the leader of Johnny Rico's platoon, and he gets his legs bitten off, and he says, "Rico, you know what to do." And Rico has to put down his own mentor in keeping with his wishes. Like, it's this powerful scene. Even though a lot of that movie's played for laughs, you can't fake something like that, which is like this sincere, powerful moment between two men in battle together. It's freaking fantastic. One of my favorite lines in the entire movie is when Rico says no to Dizzy asking him for a dance, and his mentor comes over and says, "Rico, you once asked me for advice. Can I give you some now?" And he says, "Sure, of course, sir. Never pass up a good thing." I love that part. That is one of the most brilliant moments in the movie. So my point is, even when they try to water down the themes of military honor and duty and, the band of brothers quality of men in war together, men and women in war together, in the case of Starship Troopers, people immediately gravitate to that. And it immediately resonates. So if that is what's there, this will be wildly successful. Wrangler says, as grim and dark as the gap in Bella Ramsey's teeth. Am I just being unfair to her now? I'm starting to feel a little guilty here. All I will say is, listen, Bella deserves success in life. Just not as the lead of The Last of Us. And I know that's unfortunate, but she's just an unfortunate looking woman. Listen, the problem with Bella Ramsey is not Bella Ramsey. The problem with Bella Ramsey is they are, just like with Rachel Zegler and just like with a lot of these actors, they are trying to impose a false consensus about who's popular, who's beautiful, and who is wanted in a role. That's the issue. And so I don't think you should feel that guilty about it because Bella has participated in attempting to force that consensus on us. And when you attempt to force people to do anything, they will rebel against you. And the attacks on her looks is a form of rebellion against the false consensus. And so in the words of a very wise man, Dave Chappelle, why? Because fuck him. That's why. Roll tape.
And the material gets sent back for rewrites. Strike 2. The writer gets sent back to study the source material like it's homework.
Wait. Oh,
Some
roll
say
that
there's
back, Mr.
practically
Producer.
a
Holy
fitting
shit.
on the show.
Did you catch that, boys? Oh my God, this is great. Okay, I think, he said there's a 3 strikes rule for writers on the show for Warhammer 40,000.
Hands down. And there's an update to a story we covered a couple months back, the one about Cavill running a strict 3-strike system for anyone writing on the show. Strike 1 for breaking lore, a serious conversation, and the material gets sent back for rewrites. Strike 2.
Wow. That's brilliant. That's genius. Imagine if they imposed this at Obsidian and Bungie and Ubisoft. Imagine if they imposed this for localizers of anime. Imagine if they imposed this at Marvel, at DC, Lucasfilm. This, you know, I've been asked on this live stream before, how would I fix Star Wars? Well, I just added an answer to my inventory of tools. This 3 strikes rule by Cavill is genius. So strike 1, if you break the lore in your writing, serious conversation, the script is sent back for rewrites. Strike 2 is?
The writer gets sent back to study the source material like it's homework. Some say there's practically a quiz involved.
Wow. Gee, that's great. Folks, Star Trek. Imagine if we could get this for Star Trek. You have to go by if you get a second strike writing for a new Star Trek TV series, you have to go and watch all the episodes of the original Star Trek show and all of the animated episodes. And then you have to read several of William Shatner's books. And a quiz will be taken.
Strike 3, you're off the project permanently. Rumor
Fuck
has it
yeah.
this has already happened more than once.
Oh my God. Dude, this is a freaking buzzsaw for woke storytellers. They are walking into a wood chipper with this. This is unbelievable. They probably get 3 strikes their first try. They're probably like, okay, the Space Marine is a disabled, handy-capable person who is in a floating wheel. Serious conversation. Step aside, sir. I'm sorry, I don't understand what I did wrong. Space Marines are genetically engineered gods with perfect DNA. Well, that sounds very eugenicist to me. We're rewriting. They're not in wheelchairs. Never are they in wheelchairs. Do you want to be on this project? Yes, I want to be on this project. Okay, no more wheelchairs. Okay, back you go. Script is rewritten. They're like, okay, so the fully capable, genetically perfect, walking on 2-leg Space Marine, after a very sweaty battle, is kissing his boyfriend, and oh, what did I do? What? What's wrong, Mr. Cavill? Step into my office. You have to study all of the Warhammer lore, all of it. You have to read every single Horus Heresy book. Oh, I have neurodivergence, sir. I'm not able to read, and it's also very triggering for me to read stories in which there's no shipping of the characters. I don't care. Do you want to be on this project or not? I want to be on the project, sir. I'm very enthusiastic about this. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to make this mistake. I didn't realize that Space Marines couldn't love the same sex. Well, you see, it's not that they can't love the same sex. It's that they don't experience love because they're nothing but 7-foot-tall killing machines. That's the problem. Oh, okay, I understand, sir. It won't happen again. And then they come back like, oh, I've read all 70 Horus Heresy novels. I've read everything, sir. I'm ready to go. No more mistakes. Okay, good. Thank you. Now, tell me about the rewritten script. Okay, So the 7-foot tall, fully genetically perfect warrior on 2 legs who experiences no love whatsoever is talking to his doctor about hormone therapy to transition to a female custodian. Ah! Get them! Get them! That's the end of him. It's the end of him. It's over. Anyway, that's sort of how I think it's going to go for a lot of them.
Here's the part that's got fans buzzing on forums right now. Cavill, despite technically being Amazon's guy, has reportedly sided with Games Workshop on this. Not with the studio that's paying him, with the people who actually own the IP. And the reason is simple. He wants the show to stay pure. Word going around is that Cavill and Games Workshop got Amazon to agree to something almost unheard of in a streaming contract. A clause that lets Games Workshop pull the license entirely, freezing the whole production, penalties and all, if the writers try to modernize the story or twist the source material into something it was never meant to be. That's an insanely aggressive clause. But think about who's pushing for it. This is personal for Cavill. He got burned playing Geralt in The Witcher.
This is, imagine what this man has learned working on The Witcher. This man has had a doctoral degree level education in what these woke wackos will do to a project. There's probably no man in entertainment anywhere that is more qualified to be a gatekeeper of the lore. This is exciting, folks. If this is accurate, this is very exciting.
When Netflix reportedly drifted from the books. He got tossed out of the DC universe by Warner Brothers after years of carrying Superman. Now he's using his weight as the lead and an executive producer to make sure his bosses at Amazon literally cannot pull the same tricks that have wrecked franchise after franchise in modern Hollywood. And that brings us to the real headline here. Reports suggest Amazon and Cavill aren't just aiming to make a good show. They're aiming to become the dominant sci-fi universe on the planet, bigger than Star Wars.
Which is exactly what they wanted with Rings of Power. They wanted Rings of Power to take the throne, as it were, from Game of Thrones in the high fantasy realm, and they failed. They failed utterly at that, to the tune of $465 million in just one season alone, which is interesting because I suppose all they can really do at this point is just shard out the 3rd season of Rings of Power and hope for the best. It could be that the failure of Rings of Power, among other problems that they've had, has made them receptive to what Henry Cavill's demanding here. That would be very interesting, would it not?
Sounds insane on paper, until you remember Star Wars has been quietly struggling for close to a decade now, with more and more fans
quietly struggling. It's dead, folks. It is dead. I talk to Zoomers about Star Wars. It's like your grandparents talking about, John Wayne films. It's old hat to them. It's nothing to them. They've heard about it. They've seen clips of it on TikTok. They know the memes sometimes, but it's not something that they care about. They care about things like Naruto. They care about things like Solo Leveling. They care about things like One Piece. They don't give a crap. They care about things like Backrooms. They do not care about Star Wars. They certainly don't care about Star Trek. I honestly don't even hear a lot of Zoomers talking about Harry Potter even, to be quite honest. I don't hear a lot of them talking about that either. So Star Wars is dead. Like, it is a dead franchise, but this is the great thing though. I have a couple of Gen Z coworkers of mine that have not seen Star Wars all the way through. They don't, they maybe saw parts of it, but don't really remember it because they were too little. So I'm introducing them to the original 6 films in machete order. And so far, we're up to Attack of the Clones. We've watched episode 4 and 5. Then we went back and watched episode 1 and 2. And it is so much fun seeing their reactions to things. Like one of them, when we watched A New Hope, he was like shocked by the fact that Leia kept kissing Luke. She's like, why does he keep kissing? Why does she keep kissing him? And I was like, because women used to have fun with men. They used to enjoy each other's company. Yeah, they didn't hate each other's guts all the time. The man wasn't constantly emasculated. It's really interesting too to see the debate between Princess. One of them has the hots for Leia, the other one has the hots for Padme. That's a great deal of fun. It's also really, so this is a really interesting thing with Machete Order. In Machete Order, it preserves a lot of the surprises that will not be preserved if you watch episode 1 through 6 in chronological order, and neither will they be preserved if you watch them in release order. That is 4, 5, 6, 1, and 2, and 3. And one of the great surprises... Wait, I hope they're not watching right now. They said they might watch the stream, so I can't tell. Well, anyway, let's just say the role of the Emperor is very low. It's under the radar for most of the films until Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi in Machete Order, which is a really excellent benefit. Vader is the big bad to them, and everything is through the lens of Vader. It's really interesting. They kind of see him as the Empire. I find that really fascinating. That's what Lucas intended, because the final films reveal the deeper layer to what's going on with the Empire. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, roll tape.
Looking for something else to fill that void. Outlets like MovieWeb have pointed out something interesting here. Cavill isn't chasing George Lucas's success. He's building something meant to go head-to-head with the deepest world building in sci-fi, period. And Warhammer 40K has that.
Yeah, just to be clear, my takeaway from this is Cavill is working to make an excellent Warhammer 40,000 show. The corporate suits are the ones that have the harebrained idea of dethroning Star Wars. That's a stupid corporate midwit idea of how you should create a show. Like, that's a stupid idea for a show. We're going to dethrone Star Wars. Well, yeah, that's corporate goon think is what that is. And that's what's gotten you so many failures. That's what's gotten you the catastrophe of the James Gunn universe. That's what's gotten you the Rings of Power catastrophe. That's what's gotten you the Witcher and the Wheel of Time catastrophe. That's what's gotten you all this garbage, all this slop that's gone absolutely nowhere. That's the kind of thinking that got you that. Fortunately, Cavill is using their stupidity to get what he wants, which is he's just trying to make a great Warhammer 40,000 show. One of my Gen Z coworkers asked me a fascinating question. He said, what would it take to rehabilitate Star Wars? And I said, I had a lot of thoughts on this, many of which I've shared on the stream before, but I said it really just boils down to two things. First of all, if your goal was to, because I was telling them about the cultural phenomenon that Star Wars was, like when you sat down in the theater to watch Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, or Revenge of the Sith, the minute you saw that epigraph a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the whole packed theater went crazy, screaming, cheering, going nuts. Then the Star Wars title crawl comes on and they explode again. And I was showing them videos of this. I was showing them videos of people going wild. And they were like, wow, how could you get Star Wars back to that? And I said, the very first thing is accept that it is not in your power to create that. Accept that it is a fool's errand to try to create that. Because nobody created that. The work organically earned that energy. So that's number one. But number two, earn it. Create something that earns it. And that means you shouldn't be focused on what other creatives have done. You shouldn't be focused on competing with anyone. You should simply be focused on creating an incredible work of art that stands on its own merit. And that is what Cavill is doing. Stavio says, with the success of the Odyssey, Hollywood will take this success as a reason to continue DEI casting and storytelling. I think the Odyssey is the exception that proves the rule. I think that customers will continue to be the supreme arbiters of what is successful and what is not. And they can make 5 more woke disasters and they will fail. They will fail. So I don't think it's going to affect the trajectory at all, meaningfully, personally. Yes, I understand. The retards that run these companies will learn the wrong lessons from it. They were going to be stupid no matter what. These are stupid people who eat glue, Starfury. They were always going to make bad decisions regardless of whether the Odyssey was successful or not. Think about the fact that right now, Henry Cavill has a 3 strikes rule in place to protect your beloved Warhammer 40,000 from mid-wit millennial woke writers. Consider that. 3 strikes, you're out. So my point is the overall trajectory is slow, steady, attritional warfare against the SJW wackos that plague us. And we are winning, but it is taking time. And there will be ups and downs along the way, and we can call and anomalies like the Odyssey will occur, and they will reinforce some of the bad behavior. It has to be said, but we're not interested in weather. We're interested in long-term trends. And the long-term trend, as this video is evidence of, is very much positive. This is great news. Starfury saying, love Starship Troopers, the book, and even the adaptation of the book into the movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, that movie, I was like, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 when I saw it, and it messed me up, man. It was terrifying. I went home that night, and I was like, oh my God, if an arachnid was in the yard right now, what would I do? I'd piss myself. Starfury saying, Bella Ramsey has a chin that could cut marble and concrete, and a forehead that could break it. Starfury says, homework, fuck writing for this show. Oh, come on, Starfury. You'd love that. Would be easy homework for you. Wrangler, consequences for breaking lore. I love it. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. Starfury saying, tell that to a Blood Angel, the Red Thirst, or the Black Rage, anyone. A handy, capable space marine, says Wrangler, in a hover chair shouting, Tibbe, as he rockets into battle. Exactly the problem, Wrangler. You're fired. Starfury says, we aren't even sure if space marines have their bits intact. Let's just assume they do and move on. Wrangler says a neurodivergent guy would get the lore right, so he can't make that claim when changing the lore. We have the term autistic detail for a reason. How dare I diss John Wayne flicks, says Starfury? I'm not dissing John Wayne flicks. John Wayne is the GOAT. My point is how when you hear your parents talking about a John Wayne film, it's not the same as how they felt watching a John Wayne film. And I'm just saying that's what Star Wars is. It's an old Western. It's an old person movie from the perspective of Zoomers. That's not hyperbole. I'm dead serious about this. That's how they see it. Now, I'm showing the movies to them, and they're enjoying them, and that's great. But in terms of the cultural zeitgeist, that's what it is to them. It's a cool old movie. That's not where you want to be if you want to be on the cutting edge of societal evolution, as Rush Limbaugh once said. Wrangler saying, watch the Boba Fett Christmas special. Redoubt Productions says, nobody needs to aim to dethrone Star Wars. Dibney did damage themselves. It's not really a lofty order this day and age. Agreed. Starfury saying, I would love Amazon and Henry Cavill to show Arch Magos Belisarius Call to a wider public, a mad tech priest from Mars. There's a lot of opportunity here. Can you imagine just the absolute garbage Cavill has to sift through to get good writers? Can you imagine the midwits that he has to sift through? That 3 strikes rule is gonna be working hard. It's gonna be load bearing. You know what I'm saying?
at depth. Decades of lore, factions, wars, mythology that rivals anything Star Wars has ever built. If this adaptation is handled right, it genuinely has the tools to beat Star Wars at its own game. And let's be honest.
I would slightly rephrase that. I would say it has the tools to occupy the space that Star Wars abandoned, which is creating military science fiction adventure aimed at young men who have been starved for it. Young and older men.
Star Wars under Disney has leaned on nostalgia way more than it's leaned on actual storytelling for years now. What Warhammer has that Star Wars lost the moment Disney bought Lucasfilm is someone like Henry Cavill actually running the creative side. Warhammer isn't exactly a modest universe to bring to screen. We're talking city-sized starships, warp-fueled madness, planet-scale battles, and space marines built way beyond human scale. So the real question industry experts are asking right now isn't, will it look good? It's, how do you pull this off without it turning into cheap CGI soup? And there's actually a consistent answer floating around. Almost everyone points to Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn as the smartest possible entry point for a live-action Warhammer show. Instead of throwing viewers straight into a $150 million meat grinder with 10-foot-tall Astartes and galaxy-scale war, the theory is they open with Eisenhorn's story, basically a noir detective thriller with horror elements set inside the Warhammer universe. And Cavill himself has hinted more than once that Eisenhorn is a character he's personally fascinated by, which has this theory sitting at the top of fan discussions right now. On the casting side, and take this with a grain of salt because none of it is confirmed, some leaked casting sheets have resurfaced online. Gary Oldman's name is back in the mix, and he has reportedly been spotted at the Warhammer World headquarters in Nottingham. There's also persistent chatter about Tom Cruise showing up for a guest role or cameo to boost the show's star power, plus rumors around Ana de Armas and Anya Taylor-Joy for lead female roles.
Those are all fantastic. I think that those would all be phenomenal.
Both of whom have been working closely with Amazon lately. Bottom line.
Well, that all sounds pretty good. Hat tip film flop for a very good analysis of what I think are some pretty positive signs for Warhammer. Eisenhorn, that's an interesting entry point. I agree. You start with a smaller scale. You start with a story about a couple of characters, and I do think you could definitely incorporate like small local battles, and I think that would work well. And then you build up from there. You scale up from there. Let the show earn its success. You know, John Wick started with a very small scale story. A guy looking for revenge for his stolen car and his dead dog, and they scaled it up to, you know, the markers and the continentals and the high table and all this stuff, and they scaled it up from that, and that's really what you have to do. So I think they're on the right track with this. Now, let us return for a moment to Spider-Man Brand New Day, and let's get into spoilers because. And I'm not going to spoil everything in the movie, but there's one crucial thing that is a problem in this film, and I have to talk about it. And the only way to talk about it is to kind of spoil the reveal at the ending about who the villain is. Okay, so spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so one of the biggest problems with Spider-Man Brand New Day, this really is the biggest problem of the movie. It is the first ever Spider-Man film which does not actually have a direct evil antagonist villain. Okay, how else can I put this? You know, when you think of Spider-Man villains or Batman villains, you think of very specific characters. You know, the Joker, Bane, Scarecrow. When you think of a Spider-Man villain, you think of the Green Goblin, you think of Doc Ock, you think of Venom or Carnage. Like these are the characters you think of. Interestingly, they invested all this time into creating Morbius and Kraven the Hunter and all these dippy movies, and they didn't use any of those characters. There's really no character like that for Spider-Man in this movie. It's kind of a movie that's more just about him. Now, there is a threat that he's dealing with from a character, a mysterious figure who can jump into people's minds and mind control them, and he's after something at the Department of Damage Control. Well, it's revealed that this person is Jean Grey, the X-Men, Jean Grey. Now, they haven't established that there's X-Men in this universe yet. She's not working with the X-Men officially. That's not really explained if the X-Men exist in this universe yet. She is simply portrayed as being on her own. And she's trying to find her sister, who also has these powers, and she's basically doing whatever she has to rescue her sister from the Department of Damage Control. And she's doing bad things to get this done. So the short of the long is, the real flaw in the film is that even though I feel this element of it works well, the consequences for her and the damage she's done is not properly paid off, which is Spider-Man ultimately is able to talk her down at the end of the film and get her to reform. And I know we've seen a lot of this in other Marvel films. In this case, it's very well done, I thought. The emotional scene in which he's able to get through to her is really beautiful. And it actually was hitting me right in the feels. And I was pretty amazed by that. There's several moments in the film where Peter visits Aunt May's grave. And I got to tell you, those scenes hit hard every time. Really powerful stuff and really beautiful. And Tom Holland's just portrayal of Spider-Man is so good in this movie. He is quintessential Peter Parker the whole movie, and he wears his, and this is a lot of people mentioning this, he is wearing his mask all the time in this movie. And there's even scenes where he's having casual conversations and he's like with the Punisher, he's wearing his mask because he doesn't want to reveal his identity to the Punisher. It's thank you. I appreciate that. That's how it should be. This is actually, of all the Spider-Man films going all the way back to Tobey, this is the most Spider-Man has ever worn his mask in a Spider-Man movie. Going all the way back. So that counts for something in my book. Like, that is true fan service to me. And there's a narrative purpose behind it. So I will say that all of those elements of it work really well, and Spider-Man's ability to reach Jean Grey at the end is well done and very beautiful. And frankly, Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus, the same thing. Spider-Man is able to get through Dr. Octopus's insanity and convince him that he's betrayed his own principles and that, a scientist has to use his intelligence for the good of humanity. And so Dr. Octopus destroys his own machine at the end to make things right. And that's very well done also. So the trope is not the problem of talking the villain into no longer being a villain. That's not the problem. The problem is he then lets her go and off she goes into the sunset and to find a new life. Unfortunately, she's killed a lot of people in the course of this movie. And the problem is a lot of those things happen so fast and they happened such a while ago that as I was walking out of the theater, I was actually trying in my mind to think about this. It's like, did she kill anybody? I think she killed some people. And I started replaying the movie and then I remember, oh shit, yeah, she got a guy hit by a car. She at least threatened to kill MJ. She definitely had some guards kill each other. She blew up a few things. Some people probably died. So, yeah, she killed some people. Probably a lot. And she gets to walk away with no consequences. Now, Gary over at Nerdrotic, his fix for this, and I agree, this would have been great, is if she turned herself in at the end. I think that would have been great. A scene where she turns herself in and accepts responsibility. Perfect. And it sets her up as being redeemable for the X-Men films. I actually had a different idea as I was watching the film. I wanted to see her arriving at Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Individuals. I thought that would have been a good ending. She is surrendering herself into the custody of this expert who is going to be responsible and accountable for her rehabilitation, let's say. I could have accepted that. But the fact that she kind of just, is off in eat, pray, love land after her murder spree, that doesn't sit well with me. And that is why this film has been downgraded from a 10 out of 10 walking out of the theater to a 9 out of 10. And the 9 score is mostly Tom Holland as Spider-Man kicking ass. Kicking ass. This is the most Spider-Man action I think you've ever gotten in a Spider-Man film. Some of the coolest Spider-Man shots ever. There's still a few in the Tobey movies and the Andrew movies that are up there. But like him sitting on that steel girder upside down, like that's just classic. Classic Spider-Man. And the thing is that's kind of amazing. There have been so many different iterations of Superman and Batman and Captain America and Iron Man. It's really interesting how even the Hulk has gone from being the classic Jekyll and Hyde Hulk to smart Hulk to soft and sensitive Hulk. It's incredible to me that Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man, is the one character that continues to be the character in every single movie. Regardless of what you think of any of the films, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, they have all been the same essential character, which is Peter Parker. A good guy struggling to do the right thing and paying a price for it. And I love that. And this movie had that through and through. And it's probably, I probably think No Way Home is still probably my favorite, but this is Tom Holland's best ever portrayal of Spider-Man. And it is a incredibly entertaining movie. It's a lot of fun. I did not think it was bloated at all. I do think those plot issues notwithstanding, I just enjoyed every minute. Now, there were a couple moments in the film where I started to get just a touch antsy, and that was probably right around the break into 3. I think Chris Gore put it as there's 2 act 3s in this movie, and I sensed that. There were just 1 or 2 moments where I was getting a touch antsy, but then it quickly got right back into forward motion. So it's not perfectly paced, but it went by quick for me. When the credits rolled, and by the way, the credits had a different style. It was a much more mature and adult style, which I liked a lot. So clearly this is a new Spider-Man for a new age. I loved it. It's one of the best films of the year. I'd say my top 3 right now for the year are going to be Project Hail Mary, Spider-Man Brand New Day, maybe Young Washington. Sorry, Redoubt. With apologies to Redoubt Productions. Young Washington. Obsession. Odyssey, I would put below Obsession. But it is one of the better films of the year. I give Odyssey a 7 out of 10. And we're going to talk about the Odyssey. Because somebody's got to get these beggars out of here. What's that in the chat? Stoffian, he says, she killed loads of people. She should have been executed. I like how you put it. Loads of people. She did. Look. Yeah. Yeah, she did. She killed a lot of people, okay? She kind of got the Patrick Bateman ending, didn't she? You know, in American Psycho, he's like, he goes on this murder spree, and then he's like, he calls to confess, and then he shows up to the apartment where all the bodies are hidden, and it's totally clean, and everything's gone, like it never happened, and he just gets away with everything, and he doesn't even know how. That's kind of what she got. She got the Patrick Bateman deal. She's like, I kill a lot of people. And Spider-Man's like, that's impossible. I spoke to that person in London just the other day. Off you go. Starfury saying, Anna de Armas for Saint Celestine, Sister of Battle. I don't know who that is, but I will trust your judgment in this matter, Staffhitty. Wrangler saying, it used to be Star Wars, now it's Star Activist, sadly. I think they did her character dirty. She's never been that nasty pre-Firebird. Oh, yeah, meaning Jean Grey. I don't like the casting. Sadie Sink as she's too childish for me, for Jean Grey. I mean, Jean Grey is like, she's a woman, okay? They cast like this Stranger Things actress, and it's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. Starfire says, Wrangler says, they made her a low-level Scarlet Witch, and they did it way too soon, considering what her character arc is supposed to be. Yeah, I do look forward to the era where we stop letting women get away with murder because they have a sob story. We need to get away from this in storytelling. We really do. You know, when you look at Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2, or Harry in Spider-Man 3, both who had committed crimes, serious crimes, they both had a redemption arc at the end, but the difference is they paid by that, you know, they sacrificed themselves. They died at the end, which is a form of atonement, right? Whereas the problem with Jean Grey is there's no atonement for what she's done. That's the problem. And that's also the problem with Scarlet Witch. Although, to be fair, Scarlet Witch did become a full-blown villain. Redoubt Production says, I have no input on this one. I just exist in the chat. Redoubt. Come on, man. Light me up. You got to light me up for liking Young Washington. I know you. I feel guilty. I didn't want to betray you, Redoubt. I appreciate your historical gatekeeping. I do. I'm sorry. It's a great movie. It's inspiring. Definitely Washington is not that handsome in real life. That was not how he was known. He was not known to be a handsome guy, which is not historically accurate. I don't care. It makes me root for him. I like it. I like the idea of our American founders being flawed human beings that are also kind of exciting and dashing figures. You know, from what you were saying about the movie, I thought, listen to me, Redoubt's like, I just want to exist in the chat, and look at what I'm doing. I thought it was either going to be super uber, like, conservative, jingoistic, like, Washington is this caricature, legendary figure, or it's going to be like a super kind of subverted version of Washington, where he's a very complex and flawed character and has a very problematic history. You know, it was neither of those things. He was a human with serious failures, and he had some elements of hubris about him. But at the same time, it was also very inspiring to see him overcome those challenges and to know the future ahead of him. That was all really good. We need that. Even in an imperfect form, we need that. And we need Spider-Man. There's a great scene at the end where Spider-Man is as Peter Parker. He's witnessing a crowd cheering for Spider-Man without none of them know that he's Spider-Man and he's standing right there. And this crowd is cheering for him. It hits you right in the feels. It's so good. It's like, it's so well done. It's beautiful, really. Wrangler says, I'm just waiting for Monica Rambeau to say to Jean, they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. As I said, it is the biggest problem with the film. It's a problem. I won't deny it. And if someone else gives it a far lower score on that, for that reason, I understand. For me, the good things about the film far, far outweigh the issues. Redoubt Productions says, actually, I wasn't referencing the Abomination. I was referring to Spider-Man, but if you want to go there, we can go there. All right. Jeez. It'll consume the whole chat. No, actually, seriously, though, I really do. I want us to get our full review. I'm gonna test. I'm gonna test StreamYard. See if it is your setup working again, Ridout, or are you still having that audio issue on your end? I'm curious because if you can get that worked out, I still want to do our Young Washington discussion. I still want to do that. All right, let me pull up the stack of stuff, Mr. Producer, because we have more. We have a report from the angriest man on the internet, Ryan Cannell, who has for us a staggering piece of news. This film, Spider-Man Brand New Day, has in one day earned the total domestic cum of Supergirl in its entire box office run. It's quite embarrassing. It's quite humiliating. And it's also why we need to do just a little bit of...
What are you laughing at?
That's right. It's time for a little bit of grave dancing. We're going to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day beat the crap out of Supergirl.
Nearly everyone who looked at the summer box office lineup saw Spider-Man Brand New Day, following up from No Way Home, which did almost $2 billion worldwide. Most people thought the next Spider-Man movie was easily going to be the top-grossing movie of the summer with no questions asked, and might actually be the top-grossing movie of the year, depending how Avengers Doomsday performs. But when we saw the initial projections, they were massive, but a lot of people thought it could go higher. $465 million worldwide were the projections we saw just a few days ago. Most people thought it would be challenging No Way Home, $600 million worldwide. But there were some...
Redoubt, you're saying you did not have trouble on Wrangler Stream? You used a double negative. You said you didn't not have trouble. Please rephrase, sir.
Estimates out there from different box office analysts have said this is going to do bigger. It's going to do around $300 million domestically and $800 million worldwide. That's what was being said. That's what's being floated. And I thought, that's a little excessive because to me, if this repeats the success of No Way Home with Andrew and Toby and all the nostalgia people had, that would be considered a big win. And it's a big win no matter what if you're in that realm. However, it looks like these were low estimates because we just got the Thursday preview numbers for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it is enormous. Spider-Man Brand New Day sets box office record with $72 million in previews. So a $72 million Thursday beating Avengers Endgame. Now, there are caveats and context required for all these things, which certainly we're going to put out there. Thursday previews back in 2019 were a little bit different because this is when they had just started to expand the Thursday preview night. Remember when you had midnight openings, then they started doing previews around 10 o'clock, 9 p.m.? Well, by 2019, they started showtimes around 5 or 6 p.m., and you still had a little bit of that evening to get those Thursday numbers in. Now it's very different. Nowadays, Thursday previews means a full day Thursday, starting at noon. And that's what Spider-Man Brand New Day had. So a lot more showings available, certainly, for Spider-Man Brand New Day. They also included the Wednesday fan screening events through Amazon Prime. So that was also included in this number. But something to consider, no IMAX available for Spider-Man's launch because Odyssey still has those. So a lot of context. And even with, if you adjust for inflation, Endgame actually did around $78 million as Thursday preview. All of that stuff notwithstanding, $72 million is fucking huge. It is enormous. It is gargantuan. And we're at the point now where that $300 million domestically, $800 million worldwide, it might end up going higher. This might end up challenging $900 million globally and maybe $350 million domestically. It is an insane open for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I saw it yesterday, And I really enjoyed the movie. I think there's some things to talk about in terms of the story and the plot and things I wish that they had closed a loop on, things that I wish they hadn't left without explanation, because I do think it causes a little bit of problems. It felt rushed at times, even though it was a pretty long movie. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I think emotionally it was very good. I think from a character standpoint, it was very good. I think the third act focuses a lot on, I'm not going to put any spoilers, so don't worry about any spoilers, but the third act focuses on a little bit of a change of perspective, which I felt was well acted and stuff, but it wasn't my favorite part of the movie. Spider-Man and Punisher's dynamic is pretty good for the most part. Every once in a while it becomes a little much. I have complaints here or there, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie. And I'm somebody who really disliked Tom Holland's Spider-Man for his first two movies. I really disliked him. But by the end of No Way Home, after seeing the grief that he went through, after seeing a true sacrifice and embracing being Spider-Man, like on his own and willing to give all that up, I was like, you know what? I haven't liked Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I want to know what they do next with him. And I overall really enjoyed the movie. I think a lot of other people are too, and the good word of mouth is certainly going to only help this thing. This is huge when you start to look at these numbers. Only two films this entire decade have managed to attract over $200 million in opening weekend. Spider-Man No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine, now a third joins. Spider-Man Brand New Day will not only cross 200, but will smash 300 million too. Now, most people have it like the trades, the conservative estimates right now based on this opening are still like 265, 285. A lot of people think it's going to be over 300 million, even potentially challenging the $357 million from Avengers Endgame. Now, when you factor in inflation, that's probably going to be over 400 million. We all understand that, but we're still talking huge, huge numbers. And not just here in China, where Spider-Man No Way Home didn't release, whether it was because of the aftermath of COVID or because of the Statue of Liberty stuff that they didn't want in there. It looks like it's going to have a huge weekend in China. Not as much money goes to the studios from China, but for that overall box office number, still could be very big. And, you know, here are some of the thresholds when it passes, kind of what it'll mean for it. I wanted to go to some of these. If it goes over 247 million, it's above Force Awakens. 257 million over Infinity War. Over 260 domestic, it tops Spider-Man No Way Home. And for me, this is the surprising part. I thought it would do big numbers. I thought it would probably be the biggest movie of the year, depending on how Avengers Doomsday does later in the year. But I didn't think it was going to quite reach the heights of Spider-Man No Way Home, because you didn't have Tobey, you didn't have Andrew, you didn't have the nostalgia of all their characters coming into play with it as well.
It just goes to show you that there is no such thing as superhero fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue. It's derivative, tired tropes fatigue. That's the problem. It's bad writing, bad tropes, constant repetition, and let's just face it, woke wackoism fatigue. That's the real fatigue. People just want to have fun and watch good movies. That's what this is. This is a fun, good movie. Deadpool and Wolverine, same thing. You know, it's kind of Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of a dopey movie in many ways, but it's fun. It has fun. And I will say that even though I very much liked the Odyssey, I enjoyed that film a lot. At the same time, it is not a good adaptation of the Odyssey poem. It's not. It's not an adaptation of the Odyssey poem. And it destroys a lot of what's great about the Odyssey poem. But as a film standing on its own, it's fairly brilliant with some problems. But Nerdrotic had a great observation about it. He said, you know, it doesn't have a lot of fun. It doesn't have a lot of fun woven in the movie. And that's a great point. And to be fair, that's kind of Nolan's style. But then again, you know, there actually is a lot of fun in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and even The Dark Knight Rises. There's a lot of great moments where you get that sort of... There's a lot of fun in Inception, in The Prestige. I would even argue in Oppenheimer to a degree. So it's a fair critique. And I think that's really the fatigue, is people are tired of movies that are lecturing, or they're trying to create some kind of false consensus, or they're They're just written by stupid people who eat glue. This pretty much smashes all the narratives that the media is constantly trying to push about why superhero films are failing. No, the reason they're pushing those false narratives is because it's their sick worldview that's failing in those films, and they're trying to hide that.
So I thought it'd be a little bit below that, but still a very successful movie. 1.6.
Redoubt saying, I did not have trouble on Wrangler Stream. Okay, thanks, Redoubt. All right, we'll see if we can get that. I'm going to test StreamYards, and we'll see if we can get our Young Washington review, Folie à Deux. We'll see if we can get that done.
$6 billion.
It'll be the Swords and Starships Redoubt Productions Young Washington review / debate, Folie à Deux.
Dollars or something like that, which would be huge.
Which actually might be kind of accurate. Because Folie à Deux means madness shared between two. So the fact that we're at odds on this, it might not be far off the mark. Folie à Deux.
But no, looks like it's going to be even bigger than that. And I think one thing to keep in mind when we're looking at all of this is that with all these connections to the MCU, Spider-Man is a Sony property. And this is a Sony movie. And just like we saw with Spider-Man No Way Home, it did nothing for the health of the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe at all. And it only looks more embarrassing for Marvel that they can't get people to come to their movies. Like, it only looks more embarrassing for Disney Marvel that they can't get anyone to give a fuck about their shit. This movie, probably within 7 days, is going to make more than every single Disney Marvel movie that was released last year combined. Fantastic Four, First Steps made about 500.
Wow, what a great way to put it.
7 days is going to make more than every single Disney Marvel movie that was released last year combined. Fantastic Four, First Steps made about 500 million. Thunderbolts and Black Captain America made around 400 million each. And Spider-Man is going to absolutely trounce them. And unfortunately, looks like a lot of people care about Spider-Man, but not a lot of people are willing to invest this time, energy, and effort to all these other MCU characters. They're just not. And like I said, I'll reiterate, overall, I had a really good time with Spider-Man. I think that from a character aspect and from an emotional aspect, I think it hit pretty hard sometimes. And I think it was a good movie. And I think it is.
Yeah, Spidey, Peter visiting the grave of Aunt May throughout the film, that motif was so powerful, so touching, so well done. Like, so well done. And Aunt May's part in this movie, and she kind of has a posthumous part in it, it is wonderful. And it really does fit with the legacy of Aunt May and Uncle Ben throughout all of the different iterations of Peter Parker. It fits with all of that. And it's really beautiful. And I stand by the fact that I've never been a fan of Uncle Ben being written out of the Tom Holland films. However, Aunt May, as sort of representing both perspectives of Uncle Ben and Aunt May in this iteration, is still very well done. And I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I brought a tear to my eye. I won't deny. There was one scene where he's laying, and it wasn't even like a super sappy or melodramatic scene. It was just Peter bringing flowers to her grave and saying hi. And somehow that just hit me really hard and in the best way possible. That's why this film is something I rate as highly as I do.
Is only going to continue to launch at the box office. We might actually be looking at $900 million worldwide. That is in the
hat tip. Ryan Cannell, the angriest man on the internet. And that wasn't the video where he's trashing Supergirl. Where's the one where he's trashing Supergirl? It's got to be in there. Ah, well. Anyway, just take my word for it. The captain wouldn't lead you astray. Okay, moving on in the stack of stuff. We actually have the Critical Drinkers review of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I have not seen yet. So let's pull up that one, shall we? hat tip critical drinker. I'm curious what he thinks about it. He might love it. He might hate it. My prediction is I think he's going to give it a review similar to the Odyssey, where there's a lot great about it and there's other things that are meh about it. That's my prediction of what he says. But we'll see here we go.
Never has a franchise needed a movie to succeed quite as badly as Marvel right now. After years of brand dilution and box office failures that all culminated in the unholy trilogy of disappointment last year, the modern MCU is the movie equivalent of an aging pop star desperately trying to reinvent themselves before middle age makes them completely irrelevant. And they're not the only ones in trouble. With James Gunn's DCU by James Gunn rapidly turning into a critical and commercial disaster, the viability of superhero movies themselves is now looking pretty shaky. In short, Spider-Man Brand New Day needs to succeed. It needs to set the stage for Avengers Doomsday later in the year. It needs to prove that Marvel can move past the malaise that's gripped them since Endgame, and it needs to prove that there's still an appetite for superhero flicks. So with all that being said, what's it actually like? Does it succeed in its aims? Does it live up to the crazy expectations resting on it? And most importantly of all, is it worth your time and money? Well... oh, go on then. Since I'm feeling generous, I'll give Brand New Day a thumbs up. I mean, it's a slightly reluctant thumbs up for sure, and it comes with a few caveats, namely the bloated cast, some questionable choices with the antagonist, and a plot that takes a bit too long to get moving and undercuts some of the stakes of the previous film. But for the most part, it's a pretty fun movie that kept me mostly entertained for a couple of hours. Now, I'm going to give you a rundown of the plot, and it's kind of difficult to discuss without getting into a few spoilers, so if you really don't want to know anything about Brand New Day, consider yourselves warned. Anyway, so the movie picks up with a very lonely Peter still pining for MJ and Ned after they forgot about his existence at the end of the last movie. He still keeps tabs on them as they move on with their lives over the next few years, while throwing himself into crime fighting as Spider-Man and becoming a hero in New York City.
And let me just tell you, that element of the film is fantastic. Spider-Man, there's this whole through line of him working with a police officer. She's kind of like the equivalent of Commissioner Gordon to Batman. You know, she's like that for Spider-Man. She doesn't know who he is. She doesn't know his identity. He talks to her over the phone anonymously, and she gives him tips. He gives her tips, and he's helping her clean up the city. It's very... I love it. I love that whole element of the film. He's a hero. He's loved by, if there's one thing I do kind of miss in this movie, I'd love it if J. Jonah Jameson were in it. I really would, because that counterbalance of the media scumbag that's always like character assassinating Peter, I actually think that would have been well placed in the film. But in any case, I enjoy seeing Spider-Man as the hero, the undisputed hero. Michael Archangel, who demanded I do this Captain's Cast, has finally arrived in the chat. Ahoy, Michael Archangel. Welcome aboard. He says, honey, I'm home. Better late than never. That is true. The chat's about to get weirder. That's what Michael Archangel brings, and I appreciate that. No, but yeah, so this was an element that was super well done in the film.
New threat emerges that can psychically possess any...
And to Drinker's point, Drinker is saying he found that a little tedious, taking too long to get there. I did not. I enjoyed every second of Spider-Man fighting small potatoes criminals and cleaning up the city. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was hoovering that up. That's what Spider-Man is. That's who he is. That's what makes him a great character. I love that. Which, by the way... that's what makes the Christopher Reeve Superman films great, is that he spends a lot of time saving people from small disasters. I enjoy that. That's kind of the Superman thing. The Superman thing is saving ordinary people from disasters. The Spider-Man thing is cleaning up the city from small-time criminals and low-level supervillains. I love that. On his way to facing the next Green Goblin or the next Wilson Fisk,
one in the vicinity and uses them to attack a government facility called Damage Control.
But by the way, The film completely ignores the whole Wilson Fisk as mayor outlawing superheroes and vigilantes, and I'm fine with that because Daredevil, I almost said Daredevil Brand New Day. Daredevil Born Again is trash. Crap. And I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know anything about that stupid series. I don't want references to it. I don't want to hear, I don't want anything to do with it. So I'm totally fine with the fact that this movie utterly ignores Born Again. Completely ignores it.
Control. But what are they really looking for? And why is Peter the only one who can resist them? Looking for answers, he makes contact with Yelena. Oh yeah, they're still trying to make her a thing in this movie. Who points him towards suspiciously nice government guy who claims to have no idea why the psychic terrorist is attacking Damage Control. I wonder if he might be hiding something here. Anyway, with a bit of help from Bruce Banner, Peter develops an inhibitor unit that can suppress the psychic powers. All he needs to do is find the terrorist and stick it on her neck, and she'll be helpless. Unfortunately, she gets wind of this and possesses Bruce, turns him into the Hulk, and uses him to beat the shit out of Peter while she raids Damage Control in person. See,
which, by the way, that scene with the Hulk is unbelievably awesome. It's so much fun. I loved it. Almost worth the ticket price alone.
Turns out the terrorist in question is in fact Jean Grey, in possibly the worst kept secret in entertainment.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man!
And she's out to find her sister Sarah, who was taken captive and experimented on by Damage Control. But can Peter team up with the Punisher to stop her? Can he find a way to reconcile with MJ and Ned? And even if he can, whose side should he really be on here? Now, as you've probably guessed, there's quite a lot going on in Brand New Day, and if I was a cynical man instead of the chirpy, optimistic soul you see before you, I'd say the movie's been asked to do a lot of heavy lifting for Avengers Doomsday, setting up characters and factions that are going to be very important going forwards. This is the movie that definitively establishes the mutants as we know them from the X-Men, and the persecution and exploitation they're going to face at the hands of regular humans.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
Fuck off.
What did that come from? Was that in? Where is that from? Now, down, Siri.
Such a lovely pair of words.
And right here we have Jean Grey as Ground Zero. And I guess she's as good a place as any to start with my criticisms, because for me, she's one of the weaker aspects of the film. Not because of the actress or anything. Sadie Sink isn't exactly an Oscar winner. She doesn't have the gravitas and range that Famke Janssen had back in the 2000s, but holy shit, she's a million times better than Sophie Turner, and she does a pretty decent job here. No, the bigger problem with the character is the writing. She's not portrayed as an anti-hero or a conflicted but fundamentally decent person who occasionally does bad things for good reasons. She's just an out-and-out villain in this movie. She has absolutely no problem violating and mind-raping dozens if not hundreds of people. She straight up murders innocent civilians without a care in the world. She tries to kill MJ just to keep Peter busy for a while, and she forcibly possesses half of New York City in the finale. She's written more like Magneto than Jean Grey, and what's weird is that she never really answers for the things she's done. She just kind of leaves, and I get the impression the film itself doesn't really view her as bad or morally wrong.
It's a big problem. I will admit that. It's a serious problem with this movie.
That seems to be a bit of a theme with the MCU.
You've taken an entire town hostage.
Well, I'm not the one with the guns, Director.
She's holding thousands of people hostage.
And it could have been thousands more if she hadn't put up her own quarantine. They'll never know what you sacrificed.
I forgot how stupid the logic was in that. She's holding thousands of people in slavery. Well, it could be thousands more if she weren't so generous. So stupid. I am looking forward to the day that we don't have to put up with this stupid crap anymore. This is, oh my God, this is like, how did we get here? How did our morality in the West become so broken? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. It's a rhetorical question.
Sacrificed for them.
Hey, Fuck off.
I also couldn't help but question her methodology here. I mean, instead of going through all the convoluted bullshit of staging raids on damage control facilities...
Yes, Michael Archangel, Spider-Man's costume is incredible in this film. It's incredible. And it is the most comic accurate. That is true. I still kind of prefer Tobey's costume. I do. I would have been happiest back in the day if this had been his costume at the time the Tobey movies came out. I was actually slightly annoyed, actually. I just said actually twice in the same sentence. I was annoyed when they showed the Spider-Man costume in the first Spider-Man film with the sort of three-dimensional webs. I did not like that because it was not exactly accurate to the comics. In retrospect, I actually still kind of like that a little bit more. But that's not a dig at this costume. This costume is perfect. Like, no notes, but I just have a personal preference there.
And potentially getting dozens of innocent civilians killed, why not just target suspiciously nice government man when he's alone and vulnerable, mind rape him to find out what happened to your sister, and potentially even use him to infiltrate the facility and get her back? I mean, it would have made the movie about 20 minutes long, but, you know, these are questions that you can't help but ask yourself. As I said earlier, there's also a problem with cast bloat. Yelena's probably the most glaring example. She's just there to tell Peter things he could have easily figured out for himself. Their scenes take forever and they feel stilted and awkward as fuck. But I'd argue that Ned and MJ are kind of pointless as well. Bringing them back when Peter was forced to say goodbye to them in the last movie really undercuts the pathos of that film's ending. But if you really have to bring them back, then fucking do something meaningful with them. As it stands, they're kept in a holding pattern for most of the film, and by the end, Peter's in basically the same situation he was in at the start. They still don't remember him, and it's obvious he can't get back what he once had. I mean, there's at least a decent scene where he confesses the truth to MJ, and she quietly admits that she's not the same person he remembers, and I think it's handled pretty well, but it's not enough to justify their inclusion in this film. There's also a subplot about Peter's spider abilities becoming more dominant and his struggles to contain the power, and yeah, I get how it sort of ties in with Jean's abilities as a mutant, but it feels like a bit of a reach thematically, and the script doesn't seem to know what to do with it. It just kind of stops being an issue when the plot needs it to go away.
Yeah, that's the second major issue with the film, is they set up this whole thing of like, he's got some kind of mutation taking over, and then it winds up not being a problem at all at the end. And it did leave me with the question of like, where were they actually going with that?
Now, all of this criticism probably makes it sound like I'm shitting on the film, but it's more because I can see the potential in what it's trying to do on a writing level. There's a lot of interesting ideas at play here, it just doesn't quite tie them all together properly. On the plus side, the action and fight choreography is all top-notch, the emotional tone is generally pitched right with a bit of humour and optimism at the appropriate moments. It's nice to see Spider-Man tackling lower-level stuff in New York City instead of big world-ending events like he's in a mini Avengers flick, and Tom Holland proves that age is no barrier to playing Peter Parker. Yeah, he's not quite the golly gee whiz teenager he was in Homecoming,
And I like that. I enjoy that. He's Spider-Man now. He's a little world weary. He's lost some things. That's what it is. That's what it is to be a man and get older. You start losing some things.
Older now and carrying a few more burdens than before, but he's still got the right combination of responsibility and playfulness, and he genuinely looks like he wants to be there. And he sparks pretty well off John Bernthal as the Punisher. Yeah, it's very much a family-friendly version of the character now, and it's kind of wild when I think about the insanely violent shit that Bernthal's done as this guy over the years, but I think they make for a pretty good contrast together. Ultimately, despite a few flaws on the writing side, Brand New Day is a safe, solid kind of movie that gets the job done without the same energy and novelty of Homecoming or the emotional gut punch of No Way Home, but instead delivers 2 hours of reliable entertainment with everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And if the box office projections are anything
that
to go
scene
by,
was great.
well,
Oh, there is a scene where sad, depressed Peter is web slinging just as Peter in the rain. And you can call it emo if you want, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was visually, it was a very cool set piece.
maybe there is still life in the MCU yet. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
And you know, one thing that you can say that he kind of lets Jean Grey get away with murder and killing as Starfury put it, loads of people. And that's true, technically. But at the same time, he lets Frank Castle get away with killing loads of people, so, yeah. Michael Archangel saying Gwen greater than Mary Jane. If we're talking Kirsten Dunst, then yes, I will agree with you. But in the comics, no. No. Actually, I say Felicia Hardy greater than Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. Felicia Hardy is his ultimate babe, and that's who he should wind up with. Really. Black Cat. I mean, come on. So anyway, I guess I was going to talk a little bit about the Odyssey. I didn't do it. Did I do a stream last? No, I did not do a stream after the Odyssey. I was going to, but I got busy and I just couldn't pull it off. So, but yeah, my feeling on the Odyssey is it is a terrible adaptation of the poem. It's actually a pretty great film. So I'm going to talk more about that later, but I think I could sum up my thoughts with this video. And it's called That Scene in a Christopher Nolan Film When You Finally Give Up. Hat tip Michael Spicer. I've never seen this before. I've never seen his channel before. Here we go. Roll tape, Mr. Producer. Okay, this is so accurate. So accurate.
I've started without you. I hope you don't mind. You British. What is it with your obsession with chips? We don't obsess over chips. Only the weather. Now to business.
This is such a Nolan. This is exactly what a Nolan movie is like. And I'm a fan of Nolan, but this is exactly what a Nolan movie is like.
I understand you're interested in a certain Russian by the name of Petrov. What do you know about him? He's been passing sensitive information to MI5 for 10 years. So he's an asset? No. The information turned out to be false. We believe that he's working for someone else and passing information from MI5 over to them, the Russians.
Now so far, this is deadly accurate. This is exactly what a Nolan plot. This is what Tenet is like. This is what Tenet is like.
No. The Russians imprisoned him after a plot that he was involved in to steal a nuclear weapon was foiled. He went to jail? No. A doppelganger was put in his place and he fled to Oslo. It was there where he met his wife, Linda Purcell, a multimillionaire big in diamonds. Now, our satellite detected a detonation in Siberia 3 weeks ago. The following day, Petrov and Purcell flew directly to that site. On the way there, the plane crashed. Accident? It was hit by a missile. Ah. We salvaged fragments of the missile and traced them back to a weapons company in Germany called Schmerzelsfolger. Never heard of them. That's because they don't...
It's, you know what it's making me think of is, to this day, The Dark Knight, one of the greatest maybe the greatest superhero film of all time. I cannot make heads or tails of the scene in the movie where Bruce Wayne takes a scan of the bullet and uses it to analyze the thumbprint on the bullet. And what the hell is he doing with the fragments? I don't understand that scene. And then the whole concept of what the Joker was doing, that he catches up to him. The Joker's trying to take a shot at someone at this funeral for a cop. That whole sequence makes absolutely no sense. And this part of the conversation is exactly like that in The Dark Knight.
Exist. At least, not yet. What do you mean? 2 days before the detonation in Siberia, we intercepted a phone call between Petrov and a man called Darian Burkar to start a weapons company in Germany called Schmerzelsfolger. Darian Burkar, the scientist? I thought he was dead. He is dead. Or rather, he isn't. What does that mean? He's dead, but he won't be. Yeah, I still don't... Have you ever heard of Cecil's theorem of quantum mechanics and the possibility of ripples in the space-time continuum? Of course, but it's never been proved. We believe that it has. In Siberia, 3 weeks ago. What about the plane crash? The plane crash didn't happen. Or rather it will, but it won't yet. And even if it does, there's no evidence to suggest that the people on board died or are yet to die. What does this have to do with Schmerzelsfolger? That's what we want you to find out. We believe that the answer may lie in a painting at the National Gallery. What? 23 years ago, the Fighting Temeraire by Turner was removed to be professionally cleaned. When it was returned, it was fitted with a microchip from the future which hadn't been invented yet. That microchip can be traced back, or rather forwards in this case, to Schmertelsfolger. Wait a minute. We're currently interrogating the man who put it there, Sir Lawrence Lips.
Sir Lawrence Lips? That just sounds made up.
It is made up. We don't know his real name. We searched his
It just makes overly complex shit sound smart. It's like, that sounds made up. It is made up. That we don't know his real name. Oh, okay. I'm the idiot then.
Apartment this morning, and we found a ring with an inscription in it that just says Linda.
Linda? Linda Purcell, the wife of Petrov?
No, a different Linda.
Oh, for f***'s sake.
Linda Shaw, a CIA operative who's been working undercover for 6 months in Vietnam to expose an international drug network.
What has she got to do with it?
Her information so far has been false. We believe that she's been compromised by an agent working for the network called Benjamin Slippers.
Benjamin Slippers? Oh, come on.
He is.
He is what?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say Benjamin Slippers. I thought he was dead.
No.
Oh. Well, anyway, he is. Or rather...
He isn't. What has that got to do with Petrov?
Petrov and Slippers met in Vienna 10 years ago to hatch a plan to steal an elephant from London Zoo.
An elephant? What?
But this wasn't just an ordinary elephant. Okay, this was an elephant that had the nuclear codes carved into its tusks.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll see you later. I just don't have the fucking...
Turned out they kidnapped the wrong elephant.
This information across without explicitly
Dang
spelling it out.
I didn't mean to hit that.
Ways.
Pause. Turns out they kidnapped the wrong elephant. That's my favorite part, is the ending. They hatched a plot to kidnap an elephant from the London Zoo. Oh, I'm out of here. Turns out they kidnapped the wrong elephant. That's what we want you to find out. Yeah, hat tip Michael Spicer. That is your average overly complex Christopher Nolan plot. Quite hilarious. I enjoyed that. Quite a bit. Michael Archangel, you're an Emma Stone as Gwen fan. I am too. She worked really well in that film. Darth Merlin says Anne Hathaway reduced all of the sets to sawdust. You're talking about the Odyssey, and I'm not sure what you mean by that, Darth Merlin. Are you telling me you have the hots for Anne Hathaway? If so, the captain will allow it. Absolutely. Michael Archangel says, the Odyssey, if they actually used Homer's epic and not some feminist activist story, this could have been better than what it is. Well, see, that's the thing, Michael Archangel. It actually didn't. It didn't use a feminist activist story because Emily Wilson, who wrote the translation, supposedly, that inspired Nolan, she doesn't like his film. She thinks it's terrible and has been quoted as saying she would be ashamed to have written any part of the screenplay. So she doesn't even like it. So he didn't even do that. You meant she chewed the scenery. I get it. Okay, yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I still don't know. Is he's not dead. Or rather, he isn't, but he will be. I just love that so much. I thought you were going to say he was dead. Well, I was going to say that, but he isn't. That's right. The Odyssey. The Odyssey is such a fascinating film. I think I'm going to save my thoughts. I want to do a video on it. And I know I say that all the time. And one of these days, I'm going to mean it. But you know what's interesting? I think Brand New Day, whatever you think of it, whether you think it's good or not, it is going to absolutely destroy the Avengers Doomsday, I believe. I think it's going to make a lot more money. I think it's going to be proven to be a much better film. Having heard the plot leaks, and I believe they are genuine. Why? Because it sounds exactly like what Kevin Feige's Modern Marvel would do. It sounds exactly like what they would do. So I think that the plot leaks are accurate, and I think that that is going to torpedo this film. I think it is the last gasp of a desperate, dying MCU. And there is a type of fan who simply is not ready to accept this. They can't. They suffer from a disease. It's called chivalry by proxy. It's contagious. It's degenerative. It's incurable. And the prognosis, I regret to tell you, is grim. Alas, I don't have the stomach to study it. I suppose it would take a mind less bound by the needs of perfection to study the shill. Fortunately, there is such a man. His name is Mr. Grizzy. He is an expert on the shill. He studies them. He examines them in a lab and determines the source of their disease in hopes that one day he can develop an inoculation to prevent the rest of humanity from being infected, so that we normal humans can remain normal and not shills. And so we're going to check in with the shills and see what they think, because they're really mad that we're not as excited about Avengers Doomsday as they are. Take it away, Mr. Grizzy.
Nobody loves talking about the Avengers Doomsday trailer more than the people that are not excited and hate Avengers Doomsday.
The hell are you bitching about?
It's like everywhere you look, it's like, I am not excited and I hate this and I don't want to talk about it, but all I talk about is Avengers Endgame. Why? Because the grift.
Bitch, shut up.
Alright, so I think it's pretty safe to say that there are a lot of mixed feelings going into Avengers Doomsday later this year. Many fans view Marvel's decision to bring Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back, along with all the other...
I gotta say, Chris Evans does look weird. He looks weird. Like, there's something going on with his face. I know people have been calling this out, but, like, I can't get over
There are
it.
a lot of mixed feelings going into Avengers Doomsday later this year. Many fans view Marvel's decision to bring Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back.
Like, he should look a little older, a little more seasoned. He looks strangely younger and weirder. I don't know how else to describe it. He doesn't look like him. People need to get more interested in graceful aging again. People need to accept that, listen, that if there's one privilege that men do enjoy, it's that we look better with age. And that is not an advantage the ladies have. It just isn't. Men look older and wiser. A little bit of gray in the hair, a few extra lines. It makes us look more commanding. It makes us look more trustworthy. It makes us look like we should be leaders. That's an advantage. We should lean into that. Take the win. Enjoy the fact that you are a male, and as you get older, it just makes you look better.
Along with
but instead, he's probably got some kind of weird freaking injections or something.
All the other cameos that are going to be in this film as a sign of desperation. And possibly Disney Marvel focusing on key jingling and nostalgia.
Exactly, Michael Archangel. Captain T-shirt and black pants. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Except Bella Ramsey. The dumbest thing I've ever seen. Except Leslie Headland.
Than telling a good story. Add to that reports of production and editing problems, fans feeling like Doom is being rushed and not being given a proper build-up, and finally a trailer which is considered by many to be quite mid.
Oh no. I know.
And I think these are genuine concerns to have at the end of the day, and it's possible that Avengers Doomsday might turn out to be a big disappointment. But this MCU shill says... thinks that all these people voicing their concerns are just full of shit and gwifting.
You clearly care, unless you're just a pure grifter. And maybe that's the case. Maybe you are. I don't know. And then salutes to you because you're playing to your dumb fan base because, hey, they just fall for the grift. I get it. There's grifters.
And I think I and everyone watching this video get it as well. Grifters twigger you.
There is a...
Grifters twigger you. Why are they like this? Why can't they ever... The best characterization of what we're up against I've ever heard comes from Asmongold. The guy's a bit crazy. Let me just tell you this. Asmongold, he's a bit nuts, and he knows it, and I appreciate that. I respect that about him. But he's got his sharp logic is like his best asset, and he has a way of condensing a thought into the most accurate characterization possible. He's like autistic when it comes to this. And he pointed out the consistent thing that you get with SJWs, leftists, guys like Hassan Piker, the media, all of these people, they deliberately misunderstand the argument of their opponent so that they can reframe it as something it's not and argue with a position that their opponent does not even have. So that's such a key phrase. They deliberately misunderstand what's being said. And once that clicked into place, I'm like, oh my God, it fits every single... It's why I don't even argue with them anymore. I used to get into all these arguments when I was in my 20s, and I would try and make them understand. And they make you feel like you're crazy. And that's the genius of it. They're like, oh, so you just hate all black people? That's not what I said. It's like, that's it. Exactly. They know that. They know that. They are trying to deliberately misunderstand what you're saying. So here's this guy, and he's basically saying, oh, they're not excited for it because they're grifting. So you're deliberately misunderstanding the fact that we genuinely don't like the trailer. So you will not accept that other people don't like the trailer. See, this is why you people, you shills, you SJWs, this is why you're losing. This is why you lose. This is why all of your movies lose. This is why Supergirl's a loser. This is why James Gunn is now a loser. This is why the MCU is a loser. Because you refuse to understand reality. Reality.
Content creator plague on this app, on every other app where influencers are talking about
influencers. We're influencers. My impression of the shill is deadly accurate. Is this not more evidence of how deadly accurate? This is how they talk, folks. They suffer. They suffer.
This is some nonsense. They're triggering me.
Because what do you mean that the most buzz and the most content
what do you mean?
To
What do you mean?
Doomsday that's being made since the trailer dropped is from people that actively hate this trailer, that are dissecting every piece of it, are critical about every single scene, and are the same people that said, I don't care about the MCU since Avengers Endgame, yet constantly talk about every single project since Endgame, and it's always the same rhetoric.
I don't know, maybe because...
Why shouldn't we? Because we love Marvel. Because we want it to be successful. Why? See, that's the part that you dumb shills miss, is that you think we do this because we don't love it. We do this because we want it to be great. We want them to stop writing bad scripts and doing crappy CGI and crapping out movies with nonsensical plots that don't line up. We want it to be like it used to be. We want greatness. If we didn't care about any of those things, we wouldn't talk about it.
Because since Endgame, there's been a massive dip in quality coming from Marvel and the MCU, and they've shown very little...
Crowbar the Skull is in the chat and says, shills are so cute when they try to act tough, aren't they? They are. Crowbar loves the shill segment. Crowbar's favorite segment of the Captain's Cast, I suspect, is the shill segment. Michael Archangel says, these talking heads are pure shills. I don't know which are worse, Marvel or Star Wars shills. They're all the same, Michael Archangel. You know what I think? I think the Gunn shills are the worst. The DC Gunn shills are, man, they are the scum of the earth. Even Grace Randolph won't throw in her lot with them. That should tell you something. Even Grace Randolph has had enough of James Gunn's bullshit. So, she hated Supergirl. Hated it. It's garbage, that movie. I mean, I knew it was going to be good. I knew it wasn't going to be great, but holy shit, that movie was garbage. You know, Mandalorian and Grogu was just boring and pointless. That's all. That's all it was. Nothing about Mandalorian and Grogu was actually, like, actively terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like anything where I was like, oh, God, I don't even want to look at that. It was like, although I will say seeing a Hutt with washboard abs was weird. That was something I think Michael Archangel would have put in the movie. Michael Archangel would be the type of guy that would say, we need to see a jacked, ripped, Rod of the Hutt. Why? Why, Michael? It's just something I want to see, bro. Just put it in there for me, okay? Just do this for me. I'm not asking for much. Fine. Why is the Thing short? I thought he was bigger. I don't know what you mean by that, Michael Archangel. Redoubt Production says those shills then no clipped into the back rooms. That could be. We need Henry Cavill, says Michael Archangel. Everyone needs some Henry Cavill in their life. That's just a fact of the matter. You need to go back and watch the restream, Michael Archangel, because we had a big segment about Cavill's Warhammer 40,000. He's implementing this. Get this. Henry Cavill, this is noteworthy enough. I'm going to bring it up again. Henry Cavill, as executive producer on the new Amazon Warhammer 40,000 series, has implemented a 3 strikes rule for his writers on the series, which is, if a writer on the show violates the lore in the script, the first offense is they get a stern talking to and the script gets rewritten. Second offense, they have to go back and watch. They have to do a whole bunch of lore homework, and there's a quiz involved, and the scene is rewritten, and it's a much more stern talking to. Third time, you're off the project permanently. You're fired. Get out. Now, that's hot. That is very hot. That's all I got to say about that. Back up the trailer, you'll see. Okay, I'll back it up just a little. Where was it? You were saying the Thing. Why was the Thing so short? I don't know. You know, I was thinking, I do not know why, but for some reason in my head, I was thinking Swamp Thing. That's why I misunderstood what you're saying. I don't know why I was thinking that. I was thinking Swamp Thing for some reason, but no, the Thing. Okay, yeah. You know what? I was not wild about. It's like he visually looked okay, but like the dimensions of him did not look right in the Fantastic Four film either.
I don't know. Maybe because since Endgame, there's been a massive dip in quality coming from Marvel in the MCU, and they've shown very little signs of reversing that trend. And because of that, a lot of people take the stance of, I'll believe it when I see it, with regards to the MCU making a comeback.
Why are these people the ones we're letting dominate the conversation?
Because
it's not up to you, Shill. When are you stupid shills going to understand the lesson? It's not up to you. You know, this is the problem with the shills. They act like they're so loving. They're so tolerant. They just want everybody to be happy and get along. And they are the most tight-fisted, jackbooted control freaks you will ever encounter in life. They need to dominate and control other people's thoughts about things. This is what I was saying earlier. When my Gen Z coworker asked me what it would take to get Star Wars back to the level of excitement where people cheer in the theater in a packed house when they see a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, what would it take? The very first thing it would take is accepting the fact that it's not up to you to create that reaction. You can't create that reaction. It is not in your power to create that reaction. George Lucas did not create that reaction. The people in the theater and their passion for the story is what created that reaction. And it was the work which earned that excitement and that energy over years. And so notice how the shill does not think this way. The shill does not understand freedom. The shill does not understand independent or creative thought. It's why they're not capable of creating anything unique. It's why they're parasitical by nature. They can only drain the life force of something that already exists, latch onto it. It's why they have no identity of their own. Their identity is what they're fans of. It's the fucking Labubu dolls and, what the hell are those things called, Mr. Producer? The little bobblehead ones. I forget what they're called. Anyway, that's their whole identity. They don't understand the concept of rugged individualism. They don't understand that the human being cannot be controlled or dominated. The human being must break free. The human being must be unique. It's why policing speech and thought doesn't work. It's why they will never find the utopian Call of Duty lobby where everyone is tolerant and loving and supportive. It's not possible. And it's why they can't understand that they're losing, because the language of this, listen to this again.
People, the ones we're letting dominate the conversation.
Why are we letting them dominate the conversation as if it was in your power to stop us, Chill? My God. I've been kind of letting this channel idle, but hearing something like that just gets me fired up. It makes me think,
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender!
That's right, Shill. You are never getting rid of us. My God, you're going to have to kill us to get rid of us in Minecraft, Shill. That's what it would take to eliminate us from this conversation. We're not going anywhere.
Because if you actually did your research, you would see that a lot of people agree with them.
You guys know my stance about this film. I made it very well known the week after Robert Downey Jr. was cast and they announced it's Doomsday instead of the Kang Dynasty. I said that this is bait for nostalgia. I said that this was a desperation casting, and I still stick with that. But I am willing to give them a chance. At least I have that going.
Who exactly isn't giving this movie a chance? It's obviously going to make money at the box office. Who are you talking about exactly? Show us. Show us the receipts. Show us the videos. Show us the screenshots. Just this one time, please show us. Are you just looking at the thumbnails from the...
Funko Pops. That's the word I was looking for. Funko Pops. Labubus and Funko Pops. To be fair to the Shill, he probably doesn't collect Labubus, okay? That was a low blow, I admit it.
Chuds and getting really, really pissed off and triggered and assuming that's them writing off the movie based off those thumbnails? I don't know, you guys. I'm trying to understand, but, you're not really helping me out here, dude.
And maybe the film is terrible. Maybe it is. But I will
see
come out here and
see
tell
that? They know, folks. They know. They know. Deep down. Search your feelings. You know it to be true, Shill.
It's terrible. Look at what I did with Supergirl. How hyped was I about that film? Go look at my videos prior to it releasing. I was super excited.
Oh, yes, we remember.
That's because you're dumb. That's because you can't see, another great observation by Asmongold. You can understand the thinking of a lot of people when you realize they're not capable of perceiving anything outside of a 15-minute time radius. They can't think ahead 15 minutes in the future. They can't remember beyond 15 minutes in the past. And when you apply that kind of thinking to a handy, capable shill, someone with a mental deficiency, let's say. They're not capable of understanding that Supergirl's going to be a bad movie because of course it is. Because of course it is. Just look at all the pattern. Look at all the history. Look at all the conversation surrounding it. Look at that crappy trailer, the James Gunn reheated knockoff Guardians of the Galaxy tone, just all of the reshoots and the poor test screening scores. Just look at all that shill, and you will see that it was always going to fail. But you're not smart enough, shill. And it's not your fault. You suffer from a terrible disease.
Remember how you really owned the chuds on that one.
All right, everybody, Chud Mania is running wild. Why? Well, of course. There's another superhero.
Oh, fuck no, they want to beat us so bad. Oh, they want to beat us so bad they could taste it. They hate it. They hate it that we win. They hate that so much. You could just, God, could you imagine? Could you imagine? I can. I was on the wrong end of these shills 15 years ago. We all were. They were running the whole frickin' world 10 years ago. I'll tell you, there were some dark times back then. Before the coming of the Orange Man, the God Emperor of humankind, there were dark days. It looked like we were never going to beat them, so I know exactly how this shill feels. I really do.
Film starring a woman. And this woman is like, I don't have to dress how you tell me to dress.
Hey, shill, what if the presence of a woman in a superhero film is not a guarantor that it will be good? Have you ever considered that?
And us fans that legitimately want this to be good are for some reason getting more hate than the people that all they do is spew hate and talk about how nobody cares about this film.
Okay, so once again, no
You know what? What's interesting about this, the psychology of the shill, is that he needs to see social proof. He needs that. He needs that, or he doesn't feel safe in the world. I've been watching House of the Dragon, Folie à Deux. No. This is the third season. So this is season 3, not House of the Dragon, Folie à Deux. And I have been enjoying it. Now, it's got some things in it that bother me, but then again, Game of Thrones always has these problems, going all the way back to season 1 of the very first season of Game of Thrones. I have always had a kind of love-hate relationship with Game of Thrones. There are these long, meandering passages of every episode where nothing is happening, and it pisses me off. It really does. I happen to think that House of the Dragon suffers from this even less than the original series did. So it's not a perfect show by any means, but I was really enjoying the reviews of the show with Nerdrotic and Mahler and Shad after, and I was watching that religiously. Well, they hate the show now. They hate it, and they spend about 4 hours talking about how garbage and shit it is. And how much shittier it's going to be in the next episode, and how they fucking hate it. And you know what? I don't enjoy watching that anymore, so I've stopped watching it. I'm like, well, I am enjoying the show, so I guess these conversations are really not helping me anymore. So I stopped watching it. That's it. They hate the show. That's great. And people who hate the show and want to watch the show and then watch 4 hours of someone talking about how awful it is, great. That's a lot of great content for them. Me, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I just don't have any more use for it. Why can't the shills just be that way? Why can't they just accept that not everyone agrees with them? Because they can't. Crowbar the Skull with a member message. Member for 10 months. Where is my soundboard, Mr. Producer? Hat tip to you, Crowbar the Skull. Captain salute. Member for 10 months, and being a member of this channel is an act of faith, and I appreciate that. I really do. He says, Chud Mania, let's fucking go. Yeah, it's exactly Exactly. It's very simple. Someone doesn't like something you like, and you're not enjoying the content, just don't watch it. Just don't watch it. I don't need people to love House of the Dragon for me to enjoy it. I'm enjoying the show. I do think it's a bit perplexing, though, to me. It's like, okay, well, I could understand, an episode here or there. You don't enjoy it, doing 4 hours of like, I wish it were better. I understand that. I don't quite understand how they continue the show. It's like, okay, you've said for the last 7 episodes in a row, you hate this show's guts. You fucking hate it. Nobody on the panel likes it. Everyone thinks it's garbage. And for 7 episodes, you've done a 4-hour podcast about how much you fucking hate it. I don't know. It just seems a little weird to me. That's all. I mean, I could understand a few episodes of that, but after 4 episodes, I'd be like, well, guys, you know what? The show's not working anymore. We all kind of hate it. I think we're going to pack this in. That's what I would probably do. I don't know, maybe. Then again, if I had about 5,000 people watching me for 4 hours talk about how much I hated it, I might just actually continue watching it. So I could understand that. Well, I guess it's fun. If you're having fun, keep at it. Wrangler says, I used to enjoy Armin's channel years ago, but I watch him become more and more shill prone as everything became political. It's unfortunate. It's a disease. Look, we are having a serious battle in our society right now, in our civilization, over 2 conflicting and totally incompatible ideologies. We really are. And I've often said that I am an Americanist because that is there's literally 2 conflicting ideologies. One that believes America is a good thing and should continue as established, and another who believes it's terrible and is the problem in the world and must be destroyed. And the problem is that the shills view everything through one lens, and they want to impose a false consensus to enforce that ideology. So it makes it impossible for people to have different points of view and enjoy things because everything is this life and death battle. And that's the problem. Now, they've chosen to make society this way. They have chosen to deal in absolutes like a Sith. We were happy to agree to disagree, but they made that impossible. And they went further. They tried to strike channels. They lobbied to get people silenced and deplatformed. They created cancel culture. Never let this be forgotten. People like this are the ones who created it. In the words of Sarah Connor, they thought it up. And they have forced our hand. And now we must, our prescription is clear. Healthy doses of ridicule and mockery at the shill's expense. It's very simple. All of this can stop when the shills simply let go of their insistence that they control what other people think. That is all that is required to dissolve the whole thing. Give up your desire to control what other people think. Allow people to have whatever opinion they wish to have. And the war will be over. But you see, they're incapable of that because this little soy boy's worldview depends upon consensus. It depends upon lies being enforced upon the rest of us. So they can't afford to let go. It's sad. It twists their minds. It destroys them.
Receipts or screenshots or any indication as to who or what the hell he's talking about, so I'm going to have to go based off of what I've seen people say, which is that clearly less people are...
If I were to give Armin here a little bit of charity, what I would say is I can sympathize with the desire to go back to the way things were when we were all just Marvel fans having fun. I miss those days. I understand feeling frustrated that every time there's a trailer for something that you're excited about, instead of what it used to be, which is every Marvel fan gathering around the water cooler and talking about how excited they are for the next movie. Instead of that, there's an argument about, I think it's great, I think it's crap. I understand that that's frustrating because it didn't used to be that way. But this is what happens when you allow political poison to infect things. This is what happens when you demand purity tests. This is what happens when you make every single casting choice a race war. This is what happens. This is what you get. And I have no sympathy on that level for this shill. This is the world you made. And now you're going to live in it with us. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to make you miserable, shill. Everywhere you go, looking for happiness and joy with your crappy Kevin Feige slop, there will be to tell you that you're wrong, that it's crap. We'll be there to point out every flaw in the plot. We'll be there to tell you about every bad casting. We will be reading you the box office results in real time. We will be laughing at your expense. And there's nothing you can do about it, shill. Except surrender.
Excited about and invested in Avengers Doomsday than they were back during Infinity War and Endgame, and there's no denying that. We're not saying that this movie's gonna bomb or that nobody cares.
Yeah, all they're doing is
Agreed. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I think the Avengers Doomsday trailer is good. I enjoyed it. I like it. It's exciting. It actually is one of the few trailers in recent years that's gotten me kind of, interested. Actually, I will say the Fantastic Four trailer also had that. I actually got a little excited for the Fantastic Four trailer. As I said, the Fantastic Four movie's like a good Star Trek episode. It's not like a great superhero film, but it is kind of like a good Star Trek episode. I'm like, it's kind of chill on that level. This is one of the few trailers that looks good. Unfortunately, I can think beyond the 15 minutes in which I witnessed the trailer and recognize that there are serious red flags. Is it possible I'm wrong and this film is a triumph? Absolutely. And you know something? I'd be happy. I'd be happy if I came out of the Doomsday movie and said, wow, the plot leaks were fake. That movie was brilliant. Holy shit. Finally. I would love that to be the result. Nothing would make me happier. Unfortunately, it's a burden to be smart enough to know that's not likely.
Making content about how nobody, including them, cares about this film, which clearly shows that they care. Because if you don't care, why are you making content about it?
Because they do care.
Because we care. It's because we care. Exactly. You're deliberately misunderstanding our motives. You know that we care. You're lying. That's the whole point. You're lying to either to yourself or to us or to both. We do care, sir, madam, or it. That is the point. Really, we're on the same side when you think about it. You know, I can complain about how Mahler and Nerdrotic spend 4 hours hating on Hot D every single Sunday. But you know something? We're on the same side. We really are. We both come from a place of wanting great storytelling and great entertainment, and I respect that. If you could see past your political hangups, Armin, you could see that really we should be working together. We should be taking the fight to the real enemy, which is corporate goons, turning everything into mindless brain rot. That's the real enemy. And I wish you could see that. Oh, wait, hang on. Here we go.
Oh, you think it's slop. That's fine. But we live in a world full of hogs.
That's the problem.
They want it to be better?
And the constant feedback you see is, I don't care about Avengers Doomsday. Why? Why not talk about something you care about? Isn't there things you actually care about that are going to get you excited?
Why are you so angry?
Or are you not talking about them because you know that you're not going to make money from it. So just lean into the rage, because you know rage about a popular topic like, I haven't cared about the MCU since Endgame, is going to generate you more clicks and revenue.
Now, I just want to point out real quick that the people on YouTube who are hyping and glazing Avengers Doomsday, they're getting a lot of clicks too. They're making money off of their cringe fake reactions. 445,000 views, 285K, 239K. It's okay for these guys to make money selling out and achieving orgasm over the movie.
Oh, jeez.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
The
oh my
fuck?
god, man, fuck, I am so horny.
You got a lot of problems, don't you?
What the fuck? It's a disease, folks. The symptoms are serious.
But no, it's the toxic grifters who do what they do for money, and that's all that matters.
Because you know rage about a popular topic like, I haven't cared about the MCU since Endgame, is going to generate you more clicks and revenue. I think I know which one it is, but I think the fans are too stupid to figure it out.
Wow. Wow.
The fans are too stupid finally says what he really thinks. When all else fails, just blame the fans.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and if you...
Hat tip Mr. Grizzy, a man, a myth, a legend is Mr. Grizzy, a servant of humanity. Well, we've had a good stream, have we not? I was thinking, we need one to close us out. We need one to close us out, and I have just the thing, because there is a little-known disaster this year that we forgot about called Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day, which is... You know, it's like such a forgettable movie, but it's really one of the dumbest movies of the year. And so I thought I would pull up one of my favorite channels, which is Pitch Meeting by Ryan George. What was that, Wrangler? Did the MCU just... Oh, no. I don't want to say... Dude, it's so funny. Mr. Grizzy says, like, they literally achieve orgasm. And then the guy says it in there. He's like, oh my God, I'm so horny right now. Who says that? Seriously. So hat tip Pitch Meeting, Ryan George, he's got the Disclosure Day one, and it was hard to pick. He had a lot of good options. This is the one I decided to go with, though, because I'm like, you know what? I want to relive how stupid this movie is. So yeah, I haven't seen this. We're going to use this one to close us out tonight, okay? Roll tape, Mr. Producer.
So, you have a movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. I was thinking, what if aliens existed? Well, I certainly don't think they'd appear as some Hollywood producer with your exact face because my human mask machine glitched. Oh, me neither. I think they'd be great with googly eyes. Yeah, that sounds right. So this movie's called Disclosure Day, and it's about the existence of aliens being revealed to humanity. Oh, okay. Really dive into the global repercussions, see how it affects the world. Well, no. I was thinking we go right up to the disclosure and then we just kind of end it. Oh, so should we call this Disclosure Day's Eve? Why would we do that? I think people might get mad when they realize. It's like if you went to watch The Day After Tomorrow and then you find out it's about tomorrow. I think it'll be okay. So we're gonna meet this guy Daniel, and he stole an alien evidence from an evil corporation called Wardex. Okay, so he's gonna upload it online, get it out into the world. No. That would never work. The only way the public would ever believe this news is if it came from the most trusted source on Earth, a local American news station. Well, that's not true. You sure? Because there's a billboard right outside for the local news station, and it says, the only news you can trust. I think that's like a slogan. Well, damn it. It's okay, maybe this is like an alternate universe where that's the case. And also them reporting something means that everybody believes it without question? Sure. Great. So anyway, Noah Scanlon, the head of Wardex, he wants to stop disclosure because he thinks that would just, the world...
It's really the most It's the most fucking stupid thing in the movie, and it's right in the beginning. What if we just put it on the internet? Oh, we can't do that. Why not? Because we just can't. That's so stupid. The whole movie has no reason to exist in a world where there's the internet. It's the boomerest thing ever. It really is, because it's like, okay, if you made this movie in the 80s, this works. This works. You've got to get it's even still got problems, because you know what? You could make copies and mail them to like multiple places in case the government agents caught you, and that would be one thing. But even so, it would make more sense that you've got to get it to the news in order to get this out in the 80s, maybe the 90s. But anything after the 2000s, it makes no sense, not in the world where there's the internet. And so you have a hand wave logic. The film is broken from the very beginning.
Would go into chaos. What's the world like now? The world's in total chaos. Got it. So for the whole movie, Daniel and his girlfriend Jane are going to try to avoid getting captured by these evil Wardex people. Is that going to be hard to do? Actually, it's going to be super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really? Yeah, because see, anytime these Wardex agents show up, they seem to only be able to look in one direction as a group. What do you mean? Well, at various times when they show up, Daniel's easily able to sneak out a window or hide behind a rock or behind a fence that's just 3 sticks barely holding together. So how do these incompetent guys keep finding them? Well, see, Scanlan has a special thingy. Having a special thingy is tight. And this thingy is alien tech that lets him kind of take over people, so he keeps, like, possessing Jane to find out where they are. Very sneaky. Yeah, but Daniel figures it out pretty fast, so when they get to this motel, they hide everything in the room that has the hotel's name or address on it. So how do they find them there? Well, after all that hiding stuff, Daniel gets sleepy, and he falls asleep holding a paper with the name and address on it. Whoops. Whoopsie. So anyway, the bad guys eventually do capture Daniel, but before that, he slips a little alien device to Jane. Oh, so Scanlan can just mind control.
It's really this stupid. It really is this dumb. I hate this movie. This movie is so bad. I never would have even seen it. My dad wanted to see it, though. He was really excited about it, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that I'm like, I don't want to see it. This movie's going to be dumb. So I said nothing. I went and watched the movie. No snark at all. I just pretended that I was just a complete going in blind, and I just I ate my popcorn. I watched the movie. I nodded when he said something. We leave the theater. Didn't tell them anything I thought about it. Just like, oh, what did you think about it? Cool. And then like a day or two later, my dad's like, I don't think that movie was very good. And I was like, no. And he's like, I feel bad that we went to see it. I said, don't feel bad, because now we get to roast it together, Dad. And he laughed and he was like, that is pretty cool. I was like, it is. It is really cool.
Control her again and take it. Yeah, but he's not gonna. Why not? Because that works. And so also, meanwhile, we're gonna start following the movie's other protagonist. Oh, there's another one. Sure is, sir. Her name's Margaret, and she starts talking a bunch of alien gibberish on TV, and then she can also read people's minds. Oh, and
oh God, you know what? I like Emily Blunt. I hated everything involving her in this movie, all of it. I hated every scene she was in.
Appear to them as their deceased loved ones. What? Yeah, that's gonna be like the main way she gets out of situations, just kind of.
And another thing, I hated that trailer. I fucking hated the trailer for this movie so much. Every stinking time I went to the theater, I had to listen to the shut up. Garbage. I hate that sound. It's gross. It's like fingers on a chalkboard. I don't want to hear it. But it's the alien language. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. In every single movie for months, I had to hear it. That alone was why I didn't want to see the movie. I get this way. It's like if I've seen a trailer so many damn times that they're like beating me in the head with it, I'm like, you know what? I refuse to see this movie because I won't reward that trailer. And there's another movie. It's with Josh Brolin, and it's a post-apocalyptic movie, and they've been showing that one before every single, and I don't even want to see that movie now.
Emotionally traumatized.
Especially since it's a Ridley Scott film, and Ridley Scott is like 0 for 10 lately.
hypnotize someone and walk past them. Oh my god. Yeah, and she also has this freaking like alien GPS in her brain that's telling her where Daniel is and that she should go to him. Wait, why is her alien GPS brain directing her to him? We'll see, because we find out they actually both have a connection to the aliens. Oh. And when we find that out about Daniel, he's standing in a field and a bunch of crop circles suddenly appear. What are those about? Those are about looking cool in the trailer and nothing else. Sounds good to me. So they go see this guy, Hugo, who's leading the team of whistleblowers from Windex. Did you say Windex? I don't think so. So the whole movie we get snippets of him talking on the phone in a warehouse while stuff's being built behind him. Very mysterious. And now we find out what's being built is an exact replica of Margaret's childhood home. Why'd he build that? Because he wants to try and jog her memory to remember something from childhood. He didn't want to start by just showing her a picture, see if that worked. No, he just immediately goes full Nathan Fielder. Anyway, it works. Maybe a VR experience. Anyway, what does she remember? That her and Daniel were both abducted by aliens as children, and she was given the power of empathy and him of listening. How come? To be able to disclose the truth to humanity or something. Something. Couldn't they just do that themselves? No. It has to be a little complicated or this is not gonna be a full-length movie. Fair enough. So anyway, eventually they head to the local news station, the most trusted source of information ever that no one has ever questioned. But then freaking Windex goons show up and destroy the station's power supply. I think you definitely said Windex that time. Doubt it. Then freaking Jane shows up with that device and Margaret is able to use it to turn the TVs back on and whatnot. Oh, this thingy can do that? This thing can do anything I want it to do in any given scene. At a certain point, it makes people invisible for a while. Neat. So what do the bad guys do? Give up? Oh, yeah, Scanlan straight up takes a seat to watch and all the other guys just walk away. Well, great. Yeah, I mean, if the movie's almost over, why would he keep trying? What, is he gonna keep trying during the credits? That makes no sense. So they disclose that aliens are real, and then Hugo wheels out this live alien he's had this whole time. God. He's had a live alien this whole time. Why not just...
The worst part of this movie, the worst part of it, is the end. Like, it's just... It was so dumb. God, when they were showing the footage of all the alien encounters at the end, I was like, this is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed I'm watching this. It's so cheesy. I don't believe any of this. None of it. This is probably Spielberg's worst ever film. To be fair, I've never seen AI. I've never wanted to see it. That was the one with Haley Joel Osment or something as like a little AI robot boy. It's like, that just looked like depression in movie form. I don't want to see it. This has got to be his worst film ever. Redoubt Productions saying Ridley Scott fell with Napoleon. Steven Spielberg fell with Disclosure Day. Ridley Scott fell with Prometheus. Prometheus was like the biggest disappointment ever. Darth Merlin saying Disclosure Day was a psyop to get us to stop thinking about UFOs. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's one theory. My theory is Steven Spielberg is old and he's out of ideas, and Hollywood is populated by really stupid people who eat glue. Crowbar the Skull says, wow, I imagined it would be bad, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Remember how mythic and spooky and whimsical it was? This is the opposite of that. I don't know if you've seen Disclosure Day, Crowbar, but I'm telling you, like, no joke, it's this stupid. Like, it's basically, this is what it is. The whole movie is a bad chase movie. And the thing they're dangling at you the whole movie is, at the end of this, they're going to disclose everything. And that's the only reason you should care about all of these really formulaic chase scenes. That's all it is. It's a series of very formulaic chase scenes. And to me, it's completely missing the point of what the film was about. You know, it actually kind of does remind me of Prometheus in that way. Prometheus opens with this brilliant piece about like the mystery of life in the universe and where did humans come from. And then it just turns into kind of a nonsensical bad imitation of the Alien film. And it's just not that interesting. It doesn't explore any of these high ideas. It's a complete letdown. But when they get to the disclosure, it's one of the most insanely stupid scenes in a movie I've seen this entire year. Just picture the least interesting possible version of aliens being disclosed to humans That's what it was. It didn't have a shred of verisimilitude. Frankly, American Horror Story had a more interesting story about all the UFO theories with American Horror Story Death Valley, which was part of the dual feature season, which I actually really liked that season. Double feature. And the second half was about aliens. Now, the ending of it was bizarre and made no sense at all. But when they were kind of telling the backstory of like all the UFO conspiracies going from Eisenhower all the way up to the present, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And it was much more interesting than this movie. Wrangler says this was supposed to be the movie to make Christians question their own faith. I still don't understand what part was supposed to make that happen, because it didn't happen. Yeah, I've heard that a lot, that this movie was very anti-Christian and whatever, and I didn't really get it. I didn't really get that. It just seemed like your typical... Honestly, it was your typical Hollywood portrayal of, religion. I don't get that from this movie. It seemed very typical. It's like, well, atheist, or maybe atheist, who knows? But typical Hollywood pedantic arguments about wrestling with faith. That didn't really... The worst part of this movie is it's pointless. It's pointless. And the ending is cheesy and stupid. That's the problem with it. And it was boring as hell. I hated it. And that trailer was a crime against humanity. And fuck you, Steven Spielberg, for making me watch it 50 times.
Just bring that to the studio. Because the way this works is that this old alien's got to whisper something to Daniel, who has the power of listening. And he's got to translate that for Margaret, who has the power of empathy. Right. And she's got to share this message with the world. And what's the message? Well, she looks right into the camera and says, listen.
Oh, God. That's the end of the movie.
And then we cut to credits. So what do you think? Wait, what was that? We're done. What do you think? I don't know. This movie sounds like a long...
They don't even give you the answer. So remember how I've talked about on this channel, the promise of the premise. The promise of the premise. If you betray that, your audience will hate your guts. And this movie does that. The whole premise of the movie, the whole reason you came to see it was disclosure. Disclosure. That's what you wanted to see. And the ending is, okay, listen, here's the disclosure. Fade to black. Oh my God. How do you not see this movie and feel swindled? I don't know. Crowbar the Skull says, at least Christianity has a good story. That's true. That's true. Yeah, you're saying you haven't seen it. This is the first time you've heard the plot. It's bad, isn't it? This is the plot of the movie. He's not showing the scenes he's talking about. When you actually see it, it's even worse than he's describing. Because, for example, he says how they can only all look in one direction. That is exactly accurate. There is a scene in the movie where they surround this farmhouse, the government agents. They surround this farmhouse where the guy is hiding. Little do they know he's in the field. So that scene where like the wheat is flattening, that's the scene. He's in the field. And he looks across the field and sees that, at the farmhouse, all these government agents, like 20 vehicles are surrounding it. Literally, all they have to do is look to their left, and they will see him standing in the open in the middle of a wheat field. That's all they have to do. And they just don't. And he sneaks around them and steals one of their cars. It's so bad. Yeah, so it's there is a subplot about it. It's not that I'm disputing that this movie might be criticizing Christianity or it might not. Honestly, don't know what it's saying about it, because there is a subplot in the movie about a nun who's questioning her faith, but it's so generic and not that interesting that if he's trying to say something, he failed. That's what I'm getting at. Like, if Spielberg was trying to make some kind of argument about Christianity one way or the other, I don't know what it is, because there's really not much said about it. And it just is part of the greater incompetence of this whole movie. You know what's funny is Colin Firth gets a lot of criticism in this movie for not being that good in it. He's actually the one part of it I liked. He's the bad guy with the object. He's the one part of it I kind of liked because he works as a generic company man bad guy trying to suppress the truth, and he's got some aura in that role. So I actually disagree with that critique of the movie. But who cares? Who cares? He's in a movie that's completely pointless. It's devoid of any purpose. This make M. Night's Signs a masterpiece? You know something, Michael Archangel? I agree with that. Signs is a masterpiece. Masterpiece compared to this film. And I will tell you this. Have you heard? Probably we've talked about this on the channel. There's a theory that Signs is actually not about aliens. It's about demons. And there's a YouTube video that breaks down all the clues in the movie that it's actually not, they're actually not aliens, they're demons. And when you actually apply that framing of the movie, suddenly it's a much better film. It's a lot better because a lot of the things that didn't seem to make any sense suddenly make sense in it because there's all these rules. Like, for example, the water is their weakness. Well, in this recontextualization of the film, the water that's around the house is actually blessed holy water. And so when it spills on the alien, which is actually a demon, it destroys it, right? And the whole concept of like faith and predestination all makes more sense in that context, that the world is being essentially invaded by hell. And that the reawakening of faith is what defeats it. Well, that's much more plausible than water is the one weakness of a technologically advanced species that just arrived here to conquer us. So anyway, roll tape.
Chase scene where the chasers are not very good at chasing? Kind of. And then ends right when the interesting thing about the premise happens? That's right. Yeah. I don't know. We can market it as Spielberg's triumphant return to Aliens. It has been a while since Crystal Skull. All right, let's do that.
Hi, this is Ryan George from The Thing You Just Watched. Please enjoy this slideshow from The Thing You Just Watched.
I love this guy's videos. They're fantastic. He has another channel. He had a video that was so funny. Okay, this is from his other channel. This is my life. My dear sailors and star nuts. You know, occasionally people are like, how come you haven't watched this show? How come you haven't watched all of Stargate? How come you haven't played this game or that game? Well, this is the answer. This is 100% the answer. This is playing video games when you get older. I pulled out my Super Nintendo. I have the little mini Super Nintendo that has a bunch of old classic games loaded, and it's got great games on it. It's got Final Fantasy VI. It's got Kirby's Adventure. It's got the Super Mario games. It's got all kinds of great stuff on it. It's got Link to the Past. It's got Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. This is exactly my experience when I try to play these games.
Wow, it's been a while since we played a game, right? Yes, time has passed and continues to pass. I'm fully developed now. You are.
Right, so he's sitting there. This is his brain that's talking to him.
Yeah. Deteriorating, some might say.
What?
So what are we playing? What is this?
That's like a re-release of this game we used to play as kids. Remember we used to play this game?
I do remember some of childhood.
This game was so fun. We used to have so much fun playing it.
Oh, yeah. I used to be sloshing with dopamine when we'd play this.
Gross.
That stuff would shoot out like a busted pipe.
Okay, well, let's get back into it.
We'll try.
All right. Oh, here we go.
Let's do this.
They really remastered the polygons.
Yeah. Responsibilities.
What?
Responsibilities.
What about them?
We have those. Quite a bit of them.
I know.
So.
What? Don't say stuff like that. We're trying to have fun.
Sorry.
Oh, when you jump, they added a tail bounce, like the tail bounces.
It's pretty cool when they do that kind of thing. The state of the world.
What?
The state of the world.
This is exactly. Oh, this is so accurate. The state of the world. And I'm sitting here playing freaking Link to the Past.
What about it? It's not great. Feels ominous.
Why are you? Don't talk about stuff like that. This is supposed to be an enjoyable escape from all that.
Oh, my bad.
This is fun. These are fun times we're having.
I totally hear you, so I'm not gonna bring up the expensive sounding noise the car made on the way home that we should probably get checked out.
Exactly. Don't bring that up.
And tax season, that's totally off the table to talk about.
Right.
Shut
we
up,
are
no!
having fun with a video game like when we were kids.
I totally get it.
Thank you.
You should get that crystal.
The crystal. Yes. The crystal. I got the crystal. It was fun. That was good.
Why does it say 1 out of 100?
Because I guess you got to get 100 of them.
Wow. How long do you think that'll take?
You know.
Okay, this is exactly what happened. I wanted to play Dragon Age Inquisition, which I love Dragon Age Inquisition. The game is so bloated, though. It is so bloated because there's like these vast territories to explore. I only explored maybe 10% of the maps. And I really wanted to explore more. I wanted to see more of the Dragon Age world. So I decided I was going to do a new Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough. And this time, everything. I was going to get 100% of every single area, every single side quest. This is almost exactly what happened in my mind. This is exactly what was going on.
Yes, you got to get 100 of them.
Wow. How long do you think that'll take?
You know, several hours, I imagine.
Several hours. Wow. And that's something we're gonna do.
We're supposed to.
Didn't we say we were gonna start working out more, but then we were like, oh, we just can't find the time to do that?
This is relaxing.
Are you sure?
It would be if you did that dopamine thing you used to do.
I think we've seen too much for me to properly do that anymore.
Well, we're gonna try because we used to love this, so focus.
Understood. I'm focusing.
Me too. Second crystal. This is fun.
So what's the point of this?
I need to punch the other animals and get their crystals.
So like, what's the point of this?
Oh my God.
What do you think the full length of this game is?
I read that it's 30 hours.
Wow, so if you play this for 2 hours right now and then do that every day, it's gonna take you more than 2 weeks to get through this.
All right, you did it. You ruined it. I'm not interested in playing this anymore.
Oh, well, it was a waste of time anyway, if we're being honest. I mean, you were about to waste several hours on that.
Yep.
Want to take out your phone and spend several hours on TikTok?
Oh, definitely. Hi there, hello. Please hit that subscribe button. I am a disembodied head, so you can trust.
That's Brian George's channel. Fantastic. That's so damn accurate. Okay, so want to pull up YouTube and waste 7 hours on that? Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's Cobra Cast. Or the Captain's Cast, with your host, Captain Garrett of the Swords of Starships channel. Dragon Age 2 is the GOAT, says Michael Archangel. Are you trying to start a war, Michael Archangel? Jeez. God, you're nuts, man. You are crazy. Now, fortunately for you, you walked into the right bar because I love Dragon Age 2. It is definitely not the GOAT, so just chill. Calm down with that noise. It is a good game, though, and I do enjoy it, and I love it. It has a very odd, dark, it has a dark, tragic tale quality to it that I quite enjoy. I really do, and I replay it regularly. Dragon Age Origins is 1,000 times better. Dragon Age Origins is a masterpiece. A masterpiece. I would argue Dragon Age Inquisition is better than Dragon Age 2, but I do enjoy Dragon Age 2 a lot. And I will say this. They tried to Mass Effect it, and that was a wrong choice. You just can't do that with Dragon Age. It's not meant to be like Mass Effect. But and by the way, Dragon Age was meant to be BioWare's own unique Baldur's Gate property, because they were the studio that originally did the Baldur's Gate games, and so they wanted their own world to essentially be a dark fantasy counterpart to the Dungeons & Dragons world. But then they moved away from the Dungeons & Dragons mechanics, and they just turned it into an adventure action game, and that's just such a mistake. They should have kept it the way Dragon Age Origins was, which was closer to the D&D roots of it, which is what it was supposed to be, and I liked that. You forgot about Origins? Like, I just thought you were trolling with that, honestly. I just thought you were trying to start a fight over Dragon Age. Most Dragon Age fans regard Dragon Age 2 as a disaster. I don't. I think it was actually now here's the thing. It was too short. It was very much a rushed production that did not have nearly enough content, and it abandoned several beloved mechanics of Origins, and that was a huge mistake. I don't deny any of those problems. Nevertheless, the story that it tells is very dark, it's very gritty. It's a great dark fantasy tale. It's even a little darker than the original one, I thought. Because the original one deals with this kind of zombie invasion of the Darkspawn, which is great. But what I like about Dragon Age 2 is that it delves more into the evil blood magic and the and all the dark, twisted horrors that have happened in this city of Kirkwall. Like that, Kirkwall is a character in that game, and that's really brilliant. And, there's just something about Dragon Age 2. It feels very lifelike. It feels lived in. Every time I walk into the Hangman Bar, it feels like a real place. It's, I don't know, it just has a gravity to it. And the tragic stories of like Hawk losing his mother to a serial killer in the city, it's fucking great. It's heartbreaking. It's fantastic. How you rise to become the champion of Kirkwall fighting this Canary rebellion, it's great. I love it. And one of the best things in that whole damn game, it's basically 3 acts. The story is told in 3 acts. The first act is the first 3 years in Kirkwall. Then a year passes. Then it's the next 3. Or no. Sorry, I have that wrong. It's the first year. Then 3 years passes. Then another year you play through, and then 3 more years passes, and then you play the final year of Hawk's life in Kirkwall. So it's the story of 10 years of going from a nobody refugee to this legendary figure. I think that's a fairly brilliant idea for a fantasy game, and it works well. But in the first act, you're trying to like make a name for yourself. You're broke, you're penniless, you're living in the slums, and you sign up to this mission to the deep roads to find treasure to become rich, basically. That's the story of the first act of the game. Now, what I thought was just delightfully refreshing was after the mission to the deep roads, I sort of expected that the outcome would be, shucks, you got betrayed. They stole the treasure out from under you. I guess it's another several years of working hard to try and make a name for yourself. Like, I guess I just expected that trope where it's like, oh yeah, you were never going to get rich doing this. No, not at all. Like they basically say, oh no, you found the treasure, you became rich, now you live in a mansion in like Hightown, which is like the nice part of the city. You're like an important citizen. I forget what he's called, the viceroy or chancellor or whatever it is who runs the city, asks for your opinion on things. That was cool. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. It was the promise of the premise. That's great. So actually, I am a fan of Dragon Age 2, despite its numerous problems. Michael Archangel says, I'm old enough to say I've had every console since the Atari 2600. So much money spent, but I would never change a thing. You've lived a great life, Michael Archangel. That's a hell of a legacy. I hope that your brain doesn't make it hard for you to continue playing games. Responsibilities. What? Why'd you say that? No reason. The state of the world. It's exactly every time. Every time. Wrangler saying way too accurate. It is so accurate. That video is scary accurate. Well, I'm definitely not going to mention the strange sound that our car made on the way home that we should probably definitely get checked out. Also, it is tax season. It's like, shut up. I'm trying to enjoy this. I'm trying to play Link to the Past. Damn it. I'm trying to 100% Dragon Age Inquisition here. And how long is that going to take? Well, the main game is about 30 hours. Okay, and you're going well beyond that? Well, I mean, it's probably going to take me in the 200 to 300 hour range to 100% all these maps. And we're going to do that as an adult with responsibilities. Oh, fuck it. Uninstall Dragon Age Inquisition. That's exactly how it went. Drag queen age, the veil's gone. Oh yeah. I've never touched, just like the people who never got the vax brag about it. And unfortunately, I'm not in that club, so I can't brag about being a pureblood human. But I can brag as a pureblood Dragon Age player who has never touched Dragon Age Veilguard. It has never tainted my console with its foul pestilence ever. And I'm very proud of that. I'm extremely proud of that. Michael Archangel says, I bought a PS2 on eBay and soft modded it so it can play off an external hard drive. You are a nerd, Michael Archangel, which means you are in good company here. What's crazy is now you can just feed into an AI like, hey, how do I build a computer that'll do this for me? And it'll just tell you. It's fantastic. It's like having the computer on the Enterprise. I sort of love the AI age. I'm a fan. I think it's going to go great for us. I don't think the Terminator thing's going to happen. It's very unlikely. I mean, we'll probably figure it out. Probably. But that being said, we have had fun, have we not? Another exciting edition of the Captain's Cast. We need to do more of these. We need to do a Project Hail Mary watch-along because it is available on Prime now, so we could do a members stream, a watch-along. Let me know if you like that idea. The link to our Discord is in the description. You can join the Discord anytime you like. I frequent its halls many's the day. And if you go to galaxyborn.com, sign up for my email list. There will be movement on that soon. I'm getting close to completing the first manuscript, so I'm going to need beta readers. Well, go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. You'll have a good time, at least I think. And that is our show, and I am Captain Garrett of the Swords of Starships channel. Thank you for being here. My good friends among the stars. Until next time, this is Captain Garrett saying, I will see you out there.